What a way to start this brand new week. I am your host, Donnell Amonte Morris, here with Beast Johnson. Welcome to hashtag Fade to Black. How you doing, Mr. Beast?
I'm feeling like a kid right now.
That's good.
I
That's
got a
great
new
to hear.
instrument. I'm over here just trying it out.
That's
I,
cool.
I, I feel I feel like a kid. I feel like I'm back in middle school, making beats on the table.
That's cool. This topic that we're about to get into is going to get real deep. Black Lives Matter. Uh, I think it's a long time coming because past couple of days have not been great for Black Lives Matter, but I think it's time for us to actually talk about it. Talk about if this movement is great for Black people or is just another group that's just a group. But before we do that, we got to do our opening statements, which I'm going to start off because Beast Johnson's just been taking up all the greatness of starting first of doing the opening statement. So I'm going to go and take some of that thunder and let me go ahead and go start.
By all means. By all means.
So let's get into it. All right, so my opening statement is this: I'm a supporter of Black Lives Matter. I support it. I believe, for me, that this is something that has been long overdue. But one thing I can say that I dislike about Black Lives Matter, which I'm gonna get deeper into it on the show, is that it should turn itself into a super PAC. It should turn themselves into an organization where they can groom these activists, that they can groom these young kids, not only just groom, but get the right politicians that's already in office to push these agendas, to push their laws, their policies to help make our lives a lot better. It's great there's an organization that is funded, fully funded, to do all these things, but they're not pulling the trigger. When you look at organizations like Americans for Prosperity, or you look at organizations like the what's called the Federalists, whatever the frick it is, whatever that society is, like organizations like that, Black Lives Matter could do so much. That these so-called police officers, if you want to call them officers, that are getting away with murder, wouldn't be getting away with murder because Black Lives Matter will already have their people boots on ground or have local politicians that are in position of power to make sure that justice gets served. By doing that, you're not only saving majority of Black people's lives, you're saving that next generation's lives. If I had a kid, knowing that my kid's going to be Black, mixed with Filipino, but my kid's going to be Black, is in the eyes of America, even though I hate using this M word, a minority, knowing that it's going to be a minority, I would sacrifice my life for my kid. But knowing that they have a guaranteed life, yes, I say guaranteed life, to have a family of their own, to keep my business and my legacy going, I will take that. And that's what Black Lives Matter needs to do. It's great that you protest in the streets, even though I don't believe in protesting. But now it's time for you to actually do something systemically. But like I said, I'm going to get more deeper into the show. I just want to give my little thought out there to just, that appetizer before the entree. Peace. I yield the floor.
Well, I'm just sitting here kind of feeling reminiscent and went and bought me a cajon. For those people that don't know what this is a cajon. It's basically a hollowed out acoustic guitar that you can turn into a percussion instrument. I don't know if anybody remembers this. But this right here takes me back to 7th grade. Who can make the best beat? Point being, Black Lives Matter needs to move forward in a positive unilateral way. If Black lives truly matter, then they got to matter along all facets. We got to remember where we came from and what inspired us and what got us to this fucking point. And if we're going to say it matters, it doesn't just matter in the case of police brutality. It matters in the case of the arts. It matters in the case of politics. It matters in the case of science and technology and English and literature and all other facets of intellect that surround and encompass humanity. Our lives matter when it comes to that. We shouldn't just think of this as some kind of historical trend, like the Boston Tea Party or the hippie movements of the 60s that didn't really do anything for the cause of trying to stop the war. They're notable, they have historical value, but they really didn't do anything. Do we want Black Lives Matter to be spoken in those same words as the actions of a lot of the hippies of the 60s? Or do we want to have it spoken in regards of the Selma marches and the I Have a Dream speech as a moment historically in time that allowed us to unify and move forward? It might have been 2 steps, might have been 4 steps, might have been 10 steps, might even be 100, but we came together and we moved forward, and we're no longer dealing with many of the issues that we were dealing with at that time. There's a lot more understanding and public tolerance and acceptance. That's what we need to have and achieve from this Black Lives Matter movement, as well as the organization. They need to come together and form like Voltron and make one cohesive unit so that we can say with unabashed, unequivocal truth and honesty and sincerity that Black Lives Matter is not a trend. It's not just a fad or a pass by fair weather thing for now. This is a movement, this is an entity, this is a moment that will change, progress, and alter the existence of us all. So let's get this into further discussion, and I yield the floor.
First of all, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Apologies on my end. This cheap ass internet that's part of this building is garbage. So I want to apologize for that. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about Black Lives Matter. But before we jump into it, I found this video.
Hmm.
Uh, I want before I go on into this video, Facebook, please do not take this down. This is an introduction to people who don't know what Black Lives Matter or need one of those lessons to understand what Black Lives Matter really
We
represents.
verbally acknowledge the Fair Use Act. This is used for entertainment, informative, and educational purposes only.
Booyah. Check it out.
What is Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter is
The Echo Boy. She gonna make sure y'all hear her.
I know. But the internet is making it not that easy for me.
It be that way.
Yeah, I know.
Like Joe said, it be like that sometimes. It be like that sometimes.
a movement to bring justice, healing, and freedom to Black people across the globe.
I think we should go ahead and start off the question of what is the difference?
Let me go ahead. I'm going ahead and just bring this.
We're gonna let it
down.
buff up a little bit. Try it again later.
Violence against Black people. In 2013.
Yeah, I apologize about that, ladies and gentlemen. But let's jump into it while I'm fixing on this blimping internet stuff. Now, one thing I do want to say about Black Lives Matter, I have supported Black Lives Matter. I will say that. I believe it was a movement like this that was a long time freaking coming. It is about time that people need to understand that just because you're my friend and you're a different ethnicity than me does not mean that you're not racist. And if you're not understanding my pain and what I go through, that does not make you a friend at all. But go ahead.
I give you better verbiage for that. To those friends that we speaking of, usually the ones that say, well, I'm not racist because if you fail to understand and acknowledge the blatant, obvious issues that run rampant amongst any race, then you are no longer prejudiced because everyone holds certain prejudice, and that's just natural within life. But to not acknowledge and accept the issues from another is to, yes, admit you are a racist. Just because you don't say you tar baby moon cricket nigger, you're just as racist for looking the other way when you see a Black person unjustly accosted or stereotyped in a manner that can lead to their potential death over something frivolous and trivial. You're just as racist as that person spewing that hateful rhetoric out their mouth.
This is true. Well, we got our first commenter, Hunter. Please elaborate on this comment because we don't know what you.
I'm assuming he just wanted to say Biden
or something like
just
that.
Just using shorthand ebonics, BDIM, Biden. Probably watching from their phone.
Probably, but I want to now, as y'all realize, we're not doing no introduction of our sponsors and all that. So let me go ahead and put Sky Zone Society up there. Beast, while I'm doing that, I need you to introduce people to our first half sponsor. Go ahead and give me the script.
Talking about the Sultans of Swag. debonair Adidas drip. The only place where you can get candles, clothing, pictures, and video, all for a fair, respectable price. You can't beat that type of craftsmanship and attention to detail. They here for you. So if you ain't happy, they ain't happy. That's just proper business. Why make some bullshit product that you gonna buy and then tell everybody it's bullshit? That means ain't nobody else gonna fuck with you. But you don't get that type of business in Skies on Society. You get care and quality. So if you're looking for a proper business, proper black business, just check out Skies on Society. I'm sure that the website scrolling at the bottom. Check them out. Y'all go holler at the boy Big V. Tell him Big sent you. Ask him what's up with them candles. Skies on Society.
As you can see it at the behind me. Check them out. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. So for a lot of people, I'm not going to talk about the heat that Black Lives Matter. I want to get into Black Lives Matter, the movement itself. I mean, we got to give a big ass props to those three ladies that actually started Black Lives Matter. After the Trayvon Martin case happened, then it was a hashtag, and then we got a movement where you got a lot of protests, and then you start to see a lot of these cases of black people getting killed by police or harassed by police. Well, 9 times out of 10, deaths of police. And then I wasn't surprised when I kept seeing the backlash of other groups like All Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter and all that stuff. But I think the thing that
contrariness. That's all that shit was.
Yeah, but the thing that really pissed me off about all of this is that majority of these folks that's doing these all lives matter hashtags and Blue Lives Matter hashtags will always say, like going back to what you were saying, well, I have a black friend, doesn't make me racist, or I'm the I'm the goddaughter or the godfather of their kids and all that stuff. But then I put also the blame on us, because us as black folks, and we touched on it on a past show, where we open that infamous back door where we get around our white friends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna keep it real 100, where we allow them we allow them to say the N-word, only around us or a group of us that he cool, he cool, and they be using the N-word, da 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 da. And I remember Beast Johnson was actually telling a story about a white dude who he warned about using the N-word. He said you can use it around them, but don't bring it in.
I gave him respect.
Yeah,
because
I don't want you to.
He said it smooth enough to where it took me about third, fourth time before I called. Like, hold on. He said nigga.
Mm-hmm.
When you say nigga, it just slides through your mouth easily in the conversation. So for a white person to say it that smooth, I was like, hold on. Converse. I sense that. But once again, you got to warn them. Just because you cool with me, that one black friend does not speak for all black people.
Right. Leroy is not going to like it that much. So when he get pissed off and mad, you on your own. I can only calm him down for so much.
I'm not going to calm him down. We know that I'm not going to calm him down because you were warned.
Right. And even if I did try to go calm him down, I warned you. Going back to what you said, Beach, I warned you. So
the warning is take that outside. Don't hit. If it's don't hit him in my house.
Right.
If you're gonna hit him by the kitchen or take his ass outside. Don't hit him by my TV.
Right.
That's all I got to say. Don't hit him by my TV.
Right.
Kitchen
just
or
take
outside.
That shit outside. Or then it'd be sometimes where the person just get pissed off and angry and mad. Your TV probably just gonna get got, and you're just gonna be like, yo. But
that's what you
with
get
all
got.
That being said.
But I'm jumping in.
Right. Yeah. Right. With all that being said, we allow that forbidden door to be open. But here's the other thing. Here's the other piece that goes with that too. Because a lot of y'all love to come up with the hip hop story of like, well, black people, they y'all say it all the time in y'all music. Hold up, stop. Let's just pump the brakes here. Let's pump the brakes. So I gotta take responsibility for Jay-Z use the M-word. But
no.
Y'all
not even that. No. Let's get grammatical. All my English teachers out here hearing this, they're gonna be proud of me. Miss Robinson gonna love me if she ever see this right here. If we want to be grammatical, verbiages of words like nigga is the black equivalent to dude. Interchangeable interjectional transitive verbs that take on a now pretense. They can describe a person, a thing. They can also be used as a direction. Dude, look over there. Dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. All different levels of emotion. Same with nigga. Nigga. What is the difference? What is the difference that a human being has taken a word that everyone has used and has used in so many different connotations and attachments to different situations and grammatical tenses that it now takes on a universal, unilateral sense where I could just throw it in there as a placer, like and or the.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference? So for all you people to say that shit, there's your English lesson, your language arts lesson, if you will. You're welcome.
And then also like I was going on saying, I can't take responsibility for what Jay-Z is saying in his music. But also y'all not taking and y'all also can't take y'all not taking responsibility that the Confederacy was trying to keep slavery intact for another 400 years. A lot of y'all still carry the freaking rebel flag, but y'all say it's culture. But then when we say we can't criticize freaking Jay-Z and also alluding to what Beach Johnson was saying, that a word that your ancestor indoctrinated in us from generations to generations, and we just learned just to use the word for, you know, what's that word I'm looking for? Title of an endearment amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot use that excuse. You can sit there and say that. And here's another biggest issue that's going on in the world. When they get truth, not facts. I don't dabble in facts here, ladies and gentlemen. Truth. Like in what's his name? What Ben Shapiro said, facts don't like your feelings. You may be right. But guess what? The truth just don't give a fuck. I want to put that out there. I'm gonna have a shirt right there. I'm gonna have a shirt that says feelings like facts may not like your feelings, and on the back it said, but the truth just don't give a fuck. That's a good shirt that we should put in our merch store. But
I got one. Yeah. I got one. He just made me think about what too. Forged in the fires of truth.
Right. Oh, I like that.
on the back it says born to give no fucks.
Right. And so when y'all get that, and yes, I'm talking to my white counterparts, and it's sad, even our own people that's on the All Lives Matter bandwagon. This goes for y'all too. If you want us to take responsibility for what's been said and what's been sung in the hip hop game, I just thought about this too. If we're going to take responsibility for all the rappers and all the artists out there that use the N word in their music, then take responsibility for all the owners that are majority white that are seeing the $1 billion, not millions, billions of the dollars coming from those freaking artists, who is basically saying, you know, they're the movers and shakers on what albums should be played, should be streamed on all your favorite platforms and also on YouTube. They get majority of the money.
Hold on the road. Tag me. Whenever you're ready, tag me, because I got it.
Yeah.
Let's take it a step further. Let's take it a step further. Let's talk about the media that only propagates, permeates, and actually profiles all negative, degradative, deviant natures and actions. They're not going to showcase the musicians that are out here talking about actually uplifting, talking about actually helping you with ways to solve your issues and move forward in a more positive light. No, they want to profile the ones that got 5 different baby mamas that had herpes since they were 17, shot their mama when they was 12, just beat their 5th dope charge and working on their 4th murder rap. Y'all put them motherfucker all up and down the damn news. Or you want the person, the girl that got 15 kids by 17 different dudes. We still trying to figure out that math, but all of them was the daddy.
Preach.
Oh, you show them all day. Well, let's talk about the different facets of that, because the media actually controls more than a lot of people say, because what is seen dictates what gets consumed. So if the media does not showcase your product, no one knows you actually have a business entity. If the media does not showcase or allow you to showcase your entity or commerce or service, no one knows you exist. If it's not out in the media, it doesn't exist. If it's shown on the media, then no matter where, there's a level of truth to it.
Oh yeah. And this is why Black Lives Matter is here. This is why one of the biggest reasons why Black Lives Matter is here, because they do be holding the media accountable. Like, why do when it comes to like people like George Floyd, you gotta bring up something negative? Oh, he had a rap sheet, or that one shooting with that one guy who got shot at by the police because she said that her life was in danger. When they told him to get out the car, he got out the car and he got shot. I forgot his freaking name.
How about the one of the gentleman who stopped going to his job interview in the midst of going to his job interview? Black man, on the way to try to get a job, takes the shirt off his back to help a woman, but he is labeled and professed in the media as an ex-con. So the fuck, well, he might have a record. Dude just saved somebody.
Hold up, I like this. This is what I was actually waiting for. I'm gonna go ahead and take. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this one.
With identity politics.
No, so let me go ahead and handle this one. Then we also got another one too. So let me go ahead and handle this. I'm gonna keep this one right here. So I love it when y'all come up with these, where's a Marxist, you know, these political ideologies and socialists and all that stuff. Let me explain something to you. No, hold, beast. No. Let me go ahead and take this. Let me take
go ahead. You take
let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and take this. So by you saying that, it's just justifying how ignorant you are. This is only justifying that you are not willing to jump on the other side and understand that for me and for Beast, what we go through, just to make you feel better, just to make you feel cozy. So let's say if we were friends, I get pulled over by the police, did everything I was supposed to do, but I end up getting a knife stick hit upside my head, and I'm bruised up, stitched up. Or are you going to sit there and say, well, if you didn't comply, you wouldn't have this issue, you wouldn't have this problem? Is that your answer to me? Because with this right here is just giving an excuse of why I go through what I go through or what beasts go through. Really? Because comments like these only just proves that you and people that think like you are what's dividing this country and making us look like a laughing stock and paint you as a racist. And realize I didn't call you a racist. But things like that put you as a racist. Because when you sit there and you say the things without knowing what you're saying, will have people judge you for somebody you're not. So sitting there saying identity politics, sorry, sir, identity politics is always going to happen. It's always going to be here. It's another soft word of saying, I don't want to talk about race. We all the American people. I don't know what your race or ethnicity is, but I guarantee it's white. You are privileged, sir, if you like it or not. You privilege off a system where you got the businesses, you got the record labels, you're the ones that pass the policies and the laws. You got all this power, even to the lowest of lows, even to the ones that live in the trailer park. Now, I used to live in the trailer park. I rep the trailer park. I'm not ashamed to say that. But you got white people that lives in the trailer park, and that the only thing that they have that gives them pride is their race. They probably can say, well, I work as hard as the next black person or the next Indian or the next Mexican. And that may be true. But I guarantee you, if they fill out application the same time that they did, John is going to get a job before Rakim and Muhammad or Juan. So you can sit there and you can say, oh, well, there's a Marxist and all that stuff. You can go on ahead and say these things to make yourself feel better. But at the end of the day, you privilege off this system. And if you have black friends and they don't check you on believing this ideology, because it's not nothing dealing with opinions. It's all about right and wrong. And if they don't check you and they just didn't say that's your opinion, they're doing you a disservice. And they deserve to get slapped up in the face. But let's continue going through these comments.
Yeah, to the prior comment, Dos Danya, my Russian bot. I had to look at that name for a while. I see, pay attention to it. That's just a random troll. So, Doslovia.
Mm-hmm. And then also. And then also for this person right here who's sitting there saying, I don't believe in dark sage. No, it's not opinion. It's not opinion. It's a truth. It's not opinion. Nothing.
In America, everyone has the right. What? Did that say what I think he said? Everyone has the right to their opinions?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you sheltered.
Let's go ahead and catch up on these comments. Even though I went in on one, I'm gonna let you go through it, but I'm gonna let you handle the rest of them as I go on through. You tell me which one you want to work on, Beast.
I'm just gonna read them out because they're funny to me. We should address absent fathers in our home and the implications of the criminal justice and mental health for the kids and teens. Yes, these are good points overall. Now, of course, back to Black Lives Matter, there's an obvious discrepancy in the numbers when it comes to the actual help within our community. And even those within the industry will admit that we don't get the help we're supposed to get.
Let me see. So let's look at this one right here. So all lives matter. He grew up in Baltimore. Okay, all right. I love the sob stories like this, just to justify, just one person, just to justify where everybody else is.
Oh, what? Yeah, I'm just reading like, what's the whole point of this? All right, I'm reading this. I'm reading this. This should make you feel bad.
No, because first of all, another thing that I love too is how they get one of their friends, like I said earlier, they get one of their black friends that's doing great,
You know,
and guess
you
what?
know what the funny thing is?
And just sitting there saying he does great or she does great. Why can't everybody else? You forget that poverty is not a mind frame. This is something that's passed down from generation to generations.
It's a genetic
Ghettos,
curse, as the church would say.
right? The ghettos were made on purpose. They were put in place in black neighborhoods and brown neighborhoods, if you believe it or not. You're not going to fool me and pull the okey-doke. This is not the CNN here. This is not going to be the CNN where, yeah, you do have a point. There's no point in that because you're basically justifying one of your black friends that their lives is great, but all the other blacks choose to. What makes you think that? The question should be, why in the world are they choosing that? What is their environment like? And then also talk about the mental health. What are you talking about? The mental health is strained. After slavery, we're still getting that freaking ideology of a slave still being passed
We got
down.
the deepest form of PTSD. The only people that could beat us are the Indians.
And once again, like I said, we're catching up on all the comments and note that this is that a wrong opinion? Note my friend is African American. Once again, like I said, you just using that one.
It's a scapegoat opinion. I would not give it any validity of being right or wrong. It's just basically a scapegoat. You're using this, and the perception is an excuse because of the way you're delivering it. Because you're trying to deliver it to be sincere and honest and heartfelt in your belief, in your particular ideology. But its delivery and execution is, well, I know this black person that I've known my life that happened to fit the stereotype. And they made it out. So once again, what's defined as poverty? Because a lot of black people, a lot of people in general that are defined as poor. Poor is a systemic mindset and mentality because you work hard to not pay your bills, or you work hard and only pay the bare minimum and indulge on more of your wants. Poverty is a mentality of my wants outweigh my needs.
Right.
I need to get this shit, but I really, really want this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, poor people are the ones that get their tax money and go to Miami or Atlanta. Poor
go
folk,
to the
no matter if you, yeah, exactly. You know, poor folk is the ones that purposely put themselves on government assistance and drive a fucking S class, living in the projects, and still 3 months behind on their rent,
right,
and 4 months behind on the car note.
Mm-hmm. So,
but your rent $25 though. But no, that's
right,
neither
and
here nor there on that.
I'm talking to Dark Sage, and he's saying his friend was telling Black Lives Matter that, which goes back to what we're saying. You're using that one black friend. You're using that
and
one.
Even your black friend was like, "Hey, Black lives do matter." And even if you say all lives matter, it's still saying Black lives matter. So,
because even when you have black folks that's sitting there saying all lives matter, you know they're not just saying that because they believe that all lives matter, because they want to not rock the boat. Either they don't want to rock
most
the
of them
boat,
saying that to keep their job. Like
right?
real shit. Most
Like,
of
they
them
don't want
is
to rock the
black
boat.
folk that's
They
got a lot
don't,
of white people around them, and they
right,
don't rock the boat. I ain't trying to fuck up my money. I
right.
ain't trying to fuck up my bag.
Or have friends. I don't want to hurt my white counterpart friends. We're gonna be real. Like I'm not gonna try to hurt their feelings.
I like you.
And then also the next one is they just have self-hate. They just think just because I hang out with a lot of white folks that, you know, race doesn't matter until you say the wrong things. It happens. Go ahead and
Well,
tell. Go ahead and tell your white counterparts, your white friends that you chill with, that you kept saying all lives matter and black people need to do for themselves and all that stuff, and then you come to your senses like maybe it's the system is geared against them, and see how long that they're gonna be friends. I guarantee all those perks that he had or she had no longer exist. Why do you think Candace Owens and the Brandon Tatums are still out there making money and y'all sitting there using them as sources of facts? Realize I said facts, not truth, but facts to make you feel good. But then when they say something that make you uncomfortable, what you gonna do? I'm gonna find somebody else, or I'm just
go
gonna.
church house.
Mm-hmm. And now with this guy right here, where Black Lives Matter, listen here. I know you probably watch sports. Let's use football for example. You know, there's a
I like
lot.
this truth.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of football players that grew up with the fatherless household because their moms, which we actually had a show. You can go and check out the Wet Network for that, where we
Mm-hmm.
talked about single mothers and single fathers. So if we're gonna talk about fatherless households, we also need to talk about motherless households too as well. We just can't talk about one. And then also, even when the household has a mother and a father, they still have issues and problems. Divorce. The father and mother both could be drug dealers. I'm just saying hypothetical. I'm not just saying for the
Disease,
black community. I'm saying it for the white community. I'm saying it for all
abuse,
communities. You got a lot of
violence,
factors. You got a lot of factors.
deviancy.
So just because you have a father in the household, to your logic, that you still have a father in the household, that doesn't mean that household is going to stay structured and stay together, because it takes
Mm.
two. It takes two, because that mother and that father, with me being in the military, you got that first sergeant and you got the commander. They have to be a team. And if one outrules the other, or at least know what they bring to the table, then that house is gonna fall. That's just a broken narrative for white folks who never ever got into the ghetto and actually seen a structured household. Just because the father ain't there does not mean the mom cannot carry that torch and hold it, or a house with no mom that father can't hold that torch and run with it. So miss me.
And even then, what you see in your homes as the nuclear family, that exists. I grew up in a nuclear family. My parents were married before they had me and my sister, so I am not a bastard. I knew my father. I am a widowed orphan. That's the correct term.
Right. But B, I'm gonna let you take
But
this
I grew
one.
up this. Let's see what we got here. We have to be responsible by how we even our attempts to have intellectual discourse.
Oh, he and
Here's
then
the
also
thing. Okay,
and look,
now you want to try to be wimpish about it,
and before you go on with your part, he also used a black conservative talking point too, a quote. Once again, they go to these black conservatives
it
that
is
say
you.
these things that make them
It is
feel
usually
good,
futile
feel
to try
better.
to talk facts and analyze the people who are enjoying a sense of moral superiority in their ignorance. Now, good sir, I would greatly appreciate it if you had enough gumption and gall to quote things like that with your face shown so that I can look you in the eyes when I give you a retort. But since you want to hide behind a black quote,
Conservative quote.
I know you're really, really, really showing your ignorance, your naivety, and in regards to your intelligence. I'm gauging your zennial, definitely of the participation generation. You've never truly had to attain anything, and you have this sense of everything in front of you is true, and everything from the past is a lie because there's certain lies within the history, but history is told by those who was smart enough to write it down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not winners or losers. It's those who were smart enough to write it down. Because there's a lot of history out there that we are not privy to. There's a lot of history out there that people have forgotten still exists.
Mm-hmm.
So before you try to Google or Wikipedia any little citations and footnotes to help prove your point, I would suggest you do your own Dewey Decimal style due diligence, good sir, and actually pick up a book and get your reading rainbow on.
Mm-hmm. And see, and once again, y'all not realizing this is why Black Lives Matter exists. Because if we weren't
what they
saying
not
all these
realizing,
things,
what they're not realizing is like what there is a deeper, truly deeper variety and kind of lexicon culture of personalities when it comes to Black people. Like what you see isn't even considered the tip of the iceberg. You just haven't been paying attention to the actual top layer of the iceberg. You just been exposed into that very top tip, and you ain't even realized that there's like another 3 feet worth of ice down there, but not realizing that there's another fucking 2,057 feet worth of ice at the very bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to adjust your eyes, take in everything, because individuals like myself always understand this goes out to all you all lives matter, self-hate your Uncle Ruckus motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That think if I perceive myself to be white, then they'll accept me. Let me let you know something. I am officially, hands down, not self-titled. I am the whitest Black person most any individual will ever run across their entire life. You will never meet another Black person, another nigga as white as I am. Why I say that and why people say that, my love of music and my affinity of music is so deep, diverse, and eclectic. I know shit that makes white people look at me like, I don't even listen to that. My white friends look at me as the white Black dude. My Black friends look at me as the white Black dude. The same dude that could go sell weed at the trap house and then go to a damn karaoke, get drunk off beer, and sing Sweet Child of Mine with some bikers. And then hit the damn club afterwards. And I still know at any fucking given moment, under the wrong situation, them motherfuckers are trying to kill me. I've been put in that situation where I've tried to defend someone and help alleviate the situation with the police, and that motherfucker still tried to pull his gun on me.
In other words, what we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, we want all the smoke when it comes to this topic because we knew it was going to ruffle some feathers. But then also,
you can't see me?
Yeah.
I want all of it.
Well,
Newport, menthol, Gorilla Glue, Kush, Dab. We get peace pipe, bombs, papers. Give me that old Virginia Slim shit that the women used to have in Breakfast and Tiffany's. So I can look dignified with it. I want all hickory, maple wood, smoke, baby. Give it here. We here for it.
And the crazy thing is, this is why, with all these comments that we're getting, other than Mr. McCary, but we getting comments for him too. This is the reason, and this is the reason why Black Lives Matter exists. I mean, just because you played with this, you had this Black friend that you played football with, or me in the military that you served with, that everything's cool and dandy. That's the illusion right there, and that's not only to the white counterpart, but also is a detriment to the brother too. Or the
it's the tragic joke. I feel like the Joker on this shit because I know the only white folk that know better that ass stupid statement. I'm talking about my Big Dan's out here. Shouts out to Big Dan and my OG Josh is out here. Them the ones that, for lack of a better term, are resurrected slaves. and God just put them in place with other black folk so they spirit will feel at ease. Because they transracial, if you will. They never saw themselves as a white person. They just accepted it. It is what it is.
Yeah,
But
and
they got around people that spoke to their spirit and their soul, which just happened to be us. And they
see,
know they can say nigga. They know
and
they
see,
could be drunk as hell on whiskey and say nigga, but they
they know
know
not to say around
what you're
everybody else.
saying. Yeah, they know not to say it. And they know this rhetoric with all lives matter is just ignorant. And it's funny, like the white folk that caliber. I beg y'all, I want more big days to come out on this show like that. Like I want y'all to speak up more because y'all the white folk that know better. Y'all the white folk that know the truth, and y'all the white folk that can, in the sense of war, turn the tide in our favor. Because
Right.
they don't know all y'all exist. They know the Proud Boys, but they don't know the woke folk.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, we're not saying this show is not a recruitment of Black Lives Matter. We're going to talk about the downsides.
We're
to
not
this
affiliated
show.
by anyway.
But we know that we're going to ruffle feathers on this, and this is what we intend to. This is what hashtag Faith to Black is all about. I know we're gonna get a lot of hate. I'm here for it. We here for it. Number one, and then number two, we want a lot of the supporters to come on and comment, or even after the show, comment about this too as well. Mm-hmm. But from all the comments, like I was saying, this number one, this is one of the main reasons why Black Lives Matter is here. Number two, us who have white friends, like I said, in the military, we got a diverse group of people that serve in the military from all different walks of life. And McCary can oblige with me and agree with me on this. But we do a disservice when we got something like this and we see our white counterparts sitting there saying, "Oh, that Marxist group, they don't know nothing," and then they just look at you like, "Ain't that right, Morris?" And you looking like,
nigga,
like,
no.
And you sit there, you look back at them and be like, I guess you are doing yourself a disservice. Or them coming to you like, "Man, we good friends, man. I don't see race. I don't see color. We cool, ain't we, dog? We served together, or we played b-ball together. We won championships together. We lost games together. When you was down, I was there. When I was down, you was there for me." You know, you hear those stories. Those are stories that, yes, that may be true on the surface, but here is the thing. Not a lot of white folks hear what you're saying. They're not going to say the things that you say. And that is the disconnect. And then also by you saying you don't see race, that ends the conversation for me. I said, then what do you see? Well, I see a friend. No. What do you see? It should be more of this. What happened if that was me that got beat up by police, got killed by the police? Will you still be saying that? What are you going to do? Or are you just going to sob at my freaking funeral and go to my wife and tell her, and wife and kids, and tell her I'm sorry for your loss? Or are you going to do something about it? Or are you actually going to see what I go through?
No, what if you were there? Like, what if you and me, what if the police run up on us right now and hit us with some old 5 heartbeats bullshit from deep south? You gonna sit there and let this shit happen? You gonna speak up? You gonna take this L with me?
Or you gonna use your white privilege? Because ladies and gentlemen, white privilege do exist.
It works.
Or you use your white privilege. Yeah. Are you gonna use your white privilege and sit there and say, "Oh, you just beat up a white man," or "You just beat up a white girl"? Then what? Now they're gonna see a black person and a white person both getting beaten down by police. Oh, I'm guaranteeing you that police officer is gone by the next day, and he or she won't be able to get a job from other.
What they're gonna say? Yeah. You know what they're gonna say behind closed doors. All right, look, we could have got y'all on beating that nigga. I mean, he had dreads. He had
right?
dreads.
And then they gonna sit
He
there
was
and say,
dark. I'm not saying he probably had some weed on him. But
and
the
then,
white boy, why would you hit the weed? Why would you hit the white boy?
oh, you know what they're gonna say,
Because he
B.
jumped in it. Because he
But you know
jumped
what they're
in it
gonna
and
say.
jumped in it.
You know what they're gonna say, Peace. They're gonna be like, nah, you should have whipped their ass, fucking nigger lover. That's basically what they would say. They would have been like what you just said, or they're gonna be mainly definitely in the deep south, like, nah, they look at that nigga lover. You should have whipped their ass. Let him or her
Now,
feel like
in the South, seeing a nigga and a white man get their ass beat by the police, that's kind of commonplace depending on the area, especially if it's rural.
Yeah. And with that,
even though it will say something like there's gonna be some issues, but metropolitan,
yes.
oh yeah, you definitely catch some hell.
Yeah. So now let's go in ahead and get back to our corners. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to smoke. Now we're going to talk about the flaws of Black Lives Matter when we come back. Because right now my internet's still acting dumb and stupid silly, but we'll be right back. Phone of when we gonna get back on. So apologies about that. This is what happens when you let your freaking laptop do an update and it just screws everything up. So let's go to the flaws of Black Lives Matter. So a lot of people want to talk about the funding. People say, you know, George Soros, go back to that last comment about the Marxists. You know, Marxists, and anybody don't know who Karl Marx
I'm glad you brought it up.
Do your research.
To that point, and to people that make that distinction, go back and look at any form of history, and I'll do you one better to get accurate history. Look at the writings of Langston Hughes, and he will speak about it in great detail about how individuals such as Dr. King, as well as Malcolm X, had philanthropy dinners with white philanthropists who helped fund whatever it is that they need to do. Every HBCU was founded by white donors through philanthropical means and reasoning. Nonetheless, these are structures and foundations. and great testaments to the progress of the American black post-slavery. So for anybody, regardless of your race, to make that ignorant assumption, yes, it's true. So what? It is the dark truth of America. And no matter what facet, no matter what lane, avenue, no matter how, the best way I can think of to explain it is the rapper Lil White, who is white. And he makes a reference in the song. He says, I'm going back to the A to get that white man money. Cause I know it's a white man to pay Paul and Juice their money. Now he's signed to Hypnotize Mind, owned by two black men. They the men that cut his check. But them niggas get their money from a white man. And if a white brother can acknowledge it, it is what it is. It doesn't negate or deter from their movement. Is the point I'm trying to get to. And right on time, so to jump in. Look at.
Right, so let's go, everybody. Let's get solid for our businessman coming in. Sooner or later, he gonna come on this show, start flashing dollars and all that stuff. Hey, Bayo, you missed the best part of the show. Hopefully, more everybody's come giving us the smoke.
Now he came in too smooth, too like.
Yeah, I know.
Like he came in for the quiet storm section of the show. Like, this is your brother TJ, man.
Hey, Beats, I'm gonna let you explain to him. I'm gonna go ahead and fix my technical difficulties on my end. And ladies and gentlemen, I will be right back.
We have been explaining for the first half of the show the actual distinction of Black Lives Matter. And we having a little discussion with some YouTube trolls of Russian descent. I'm making that call. This is my opinion. I'm sticking to it. Russian bots on YouTube right now, and they're throwing out fake news. So we do not believe anything in the comments, except for the ones with Keith Murray. He's a super awesome guy, really great guy. I love him.
So somebody did not believe it.
Well, no, you have people who want to bring up the whole Marxist and making the all lives matter detractions, and for us to just get that clear understanding, for them to understand that just one black person and your experience with one black person does not dictate the entirety of all black people. So just because you seen one nigga make it out of here, don't mean every nigga gonna make it out of here. Right. Now we're speaking on deficits of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, so we're gonna sing you through this one comment right here. So check this one out.
I didn't. Thank you. You read my mind. You read my fucking mind, because I was just about to say identity politics.
Yeah. Somebody said this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts on that one while I'm still working out everything on my end.
Well, I mean,
before is the Russian
you gotta understand. I mean, the whole thing about the Black Lives Matter movement and the organization are two different things, and some people, hold on, my bad.
Exactly.
Some people, they misunderstand the difference in between the movement. I got a motion sensor light in my office space here, but so they often misunderstand the difference in between the movement and the organization. And even with that, it's at this point it should be something where if you still on the whole thing about maybe Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, something is wrong with that person. If you find somebody who at this point in their life they don't know or understand the idea of what people mean by Black Lives Matter, either something is wrong with them or they just fail not to understand the obvious. We're talking about.
I give you the benefit of saying you're a troll. Like me saying you're a troll is me being nice, because I'd rather not believe, like you say, at this point in the game that you're just that. It's 2021. Who's that fucking ignorant?
What? What? But and what it is like some people just feel like that's their side of the argument. They rather be on the side that way. So there are the people out there who actually don't believe like they don't like the fact that Black Lives Matter and the fact that we're saying it. And some people don't believe the statistics that that black people are being shot overwhelmingly by white cops more than any other race. Some people don't believe that. So it's so much that's going on. I'm always the guy that comes in and try to be like, like I try to understand or consider what's going on in people's mind and try to see if like there's any understanding towards it. Some of those statements are just dumb. When you say all lives matter, you get what we're saying. You get what we're saying. If you don't get it, then something's wrong with you at this point. Kids can explain to you. At this point, kids can explain that the reason why the movement is there because there's continuous killing of unarmed black men at a higher rate than any other people. So that's why we putting attention on the fact that Black Lives Matter. We know all lives matter. So it's something that you don't have to keep saying because they want to keep. All they're gonna do is try to get you to keep saying it. So one of those things is like you try to just get off the subject because like it's not worth trying to argue or debate at this point. To anybody, if anybody doesn't know that something's wrong with them. So but I get what people might be complaining because they feel like one race or one gender or one this is getting a lot of attention. Well, go get the people that are killing us and stop them from killing us. If you feel like they're getting attention, go talk to the people that are killing black folks and stop them from doing it. If you want the attention to stop, that's what you gotta tell them. That's what
you got everything fixed. I was listening to you on Facebook.
And to that point you said about like one race. I go back to, once again, do your due diligence, dumbass. History.
What?
If you look at American history in its entirety, you will see eras of progression and prosperity among different races coinciding with the growth of America. You saw the burgeoning communities of the Asians and the Irish, and they established their liquor. You saw the Italians come in and establish themselves. You saw then from the Eastern Europe, the North Africans started to come in. So to say, and every time there was a public time where one perceived race was getting a lot of acceptance and love. You look at media, once again, you had a Latin craze. We had moments in media where everything was Latin or everything was black or everything was Indian or everything was Asian. So no matter what the theme or environment, there's always been some moment in American history where a perceived race has been getting a lot of exposure and shine or voicing the cause. Whether it's for entertainment or enforcement of rights, it happens. Like you just got to open up your fucking eyes and pay attention. Most of the stuff that people actually be whining about, it's happened before. It might not have happened the exact same way, but it's happened before.
One, yeah. No, I'm glad Brother Keith got a good point. That's another one that people do a lot. So you got to understand. I don't hate it or get mad at them when they do that. What I try to do is just divert the conversation back to let's finish talking about the blacks being killed by unarmed blacks being killed by cops. Then when we finish talking about that, we will go talk about the black on black crimes because I'm as upset as anybody else about black on black crimes. As much as
I don't like calling it that.
Well,
I feel what you're saying, but it's kind of weird with me. Like on the way older folk feel about the use of the N-word. Excuse me. That's how I feel about hearing black on black crime because it's like you don't hear that shit. There was another Mexican on Mexican shooting today in the barrios of Southeast Houston.
Right. We do that mess to ourselves. And see, exactly. and not trying to cut you off, Beast. Not trying to cut.
That goes what you were saying though. We gotta call ourselves out though. So I'm glad.
We can't just let we can't let ourselves get away with it because we want to keep doing it. I think there's some. We need to solve that problem too.
Mm-hmm. And the thing, here's the thing. And see, and once again, this is only just proving the point why Black Lives Matter exists, because we need to hold our counterparts, because I know we were talking about funding, but it leads to something that's a lot more deeper that we need to talk about. When we have our own coming at us, like what one of the commenters was saying, you know, my black friend was telling Black Lives Matter, I made it through. And my thing is this, and I come back with you with this, with black people that thinks that same way. Then why are you not understanding that you got people that look like you have this still happen to them? And that even if you could be the richest man alive, like what's that one song that Jay-Z came out, OJ. Remember? OJ said, I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Oh yeah.
Until the freaking courts came after his ass because they thought he killed his ex, even though I believe that he's had somebody do it. But that's just me. The man's out, he's out of prison. Still, they didn't consider you OJ.
Hold on, they still, after he was acquitted, they came after him. My bad, I didn't mean to touch you.
Yeah, you're right. He did. They came after that civil case and got millions of dollars out of him. But I mean, also at
They
the
didn't
same
get
time,
that NFL pension. They didn't get that pension though.
That's true. But the thing is, they didn't try him as OJ, the football player that everybody know and love. They tried him as a black man.
As Orenthal James Simpson, African American.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I was going to say another point which has been made, you know, but definitely about the OJ thing. What upset me the most is that we know that regardless of how the white community felt and how the black community felt about his case, you know, that he got away, he was acquitted. So, and good thanks to what's the name, the lawyer who passed away later on, Johnny Cochran. Thanks to all the work he did, but the fact that OJ was still being dumb enough and he got in little trouble, trying to get his memorabilia back, so his own memorabilia back. And they got him on that, and they gave him the extent of the fullest, you know, and they sent him to prison for another 20 years or whatever it was. You know, like, they threw the book at him. You know, they were trying to get him for the previous charge.
They weren't trying to get him for that. They were trying to get him for that book. What would have happened if I had did it?
Yeah, that's what they trying to
like when he wrote the book, that's I was like, oh. Nigga, they coming at the ass now.
Well, I mean, but he wrote the book because he was trying to make some money. They offered him the money to write. But I get it.
Did a sex tape before that.
Hear me out. I don't think that he needs anybody to to be like advocating for him, and so I don't do it because I feel like I feel I just feel like he's made himself. He's one of the biggest dummies I've ever seen in my life. After you got off such a thing, I'll go sit somewhere where nobody will ever see me. I'll never do anything crazy. But regardless of who he is, he's still a black man. And the fact that you're punishing somebody for something that the court, your American court has released and said that he's not guilty, that is something that should be alarming to us, because regardless of how we feel about O.J. Simpson in particular, that's another black man that's been charged 2 times. You know that they didn't punish him for that memorabilia. They punished him for something bigger than that. They threw the book at him. I mean, when the judge was talking about that stuff that day and sentencing him, I'm like, this is almost illegal. I mean, not almost illegal. This is, I mean, we know what she's doing. How can we? I mean, so those are the kind of things. I mean, and because we kind of are pissed over him for 2 things. One, the fact that he thought, I'm not OJ. I'm not black. I'm OJ. We pissed him about that. 2, we're pissed about him because he's dumbass went and did some dumb stuff after getting out of such a thing. But if it was anybody else who was white, which like they pointed at my brother, Brother Keith made right now, they would have never went after that person after the person got accused. I keep messing up the word, but no, it got exonerated. So I mean, so it's just crazy that was another example of a black man that was hunted down after he got free and lynched, so to speak, even though they didn't kill him. And that's where I saw it, and to the point that he was making.
I agree to you. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say to the point that he was making, about the black on black crimes. White people kill each other as much as black people do. The only thing I've heard a lot of my fellow black friends or family say, that because they get mad about using the black on black crime word, whatever. I feel like I don't want to see any black person die anymore. So if we are going to make a big deal out of it, I don't mind making a big deal out of it because I want us to stop that anyway too. I don't want to be like, oh, because white folks kill each other as much as they can, let's black people kill each other as much as they can too. I don't want that. Let's focus on that as well. It's not. I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna be blind to our dumbness. Like the fact that our youth and people who are involved in gang whatever or doing dumb stuff. I want us to focus on that at some point. Even when I first heard Black Lives Matter, I thought it encompasses both cops killing black and black killing blacks. I thought that's what they were trying to say. I thought it was a more of a holistic thing where let's care more about black lives so we can stop this cops from killing black folks. At the same time, create a better environment so that young African Americans will stop killing each other because of drugs and petty and dumb reason and gang activity. I thought that's what that Black Lives Matter was about, was the two-pronged thing. I didn't know it was just a one-pronged thing. It took me a while to realize the movement and the organization was focused on just the killing of unarmed black men by cops. I thought it was both, in which we would charge our elected officials of making sure that we punish those cops. At the same time, charge our elected officials of making sure that our communities are well educated and well paid. So that, because if you're being paid and you got good money, you're making good money, you're not there trying to hunt another black man down for something. The main reason why this stuff is happening is because of poverty. So that's why I thought Black Lives Matter had that mindset that but I didn't know that it was just some simple shit. I thought it was more like a big holistic.
I feel you, but that goes to the second part of the show. Talking about no. You right for that. You ain't got back. You ain't got backpedal. You ain't got back. You right for saying
talking about that earlier.
Because that's when the second half, like you jumped into the second half, so your comment flows right in, and the second half is the faults and deficits of the Black Lives Matter moniker, and that's going to include the movement and the organization. And that was my fault. That was my point in the opening statement. There has to be a unilateral front when you're saying Black Lives Matter. It's got to encompass everything. So when you talk about, it shouldn't just be police reform. It should be black violence.
What?
Right. It should be. Yeah, we should
internally and externally.
Right. And for me, also the flaw is for us is when you, like I said, when we have our own that don't understand that this is for you too. Even if you fall on the right side or you that one that's in the middle, which I don't trust somebody in the middle when they sit and say, I don't know, I'm independent. When you sit there and say you're independent, I don't trust you because your mind haven't been made up unless you're an independent artist.
I don't trust but thank you. You saw my face like,
yeah, I saw you was grabbing your visible person, so I had to clarify.
You saw the pearls, like, oh.
but for the independent blacks that sit there saying, I don't understand, but I get it, but I don't understand. I don't trust you neither. You are a detriment.
I don't trust you.
Yeah. Right, yeah, you're a detriment to a movement that's looking out for you because we live in one thing about us black folks that I also cannot stand is when I'm just gonna mind my business and keep moving. Like if it's not messing up with my world, I don't need to worry about it. Which is true, but realize this.
No, it's not.
But realize this: when it happens to you in your world. You can't then all of a sudden expect that same as that person that was asking for your help, and you said, "Oh, I mind my business," and he or she walks along like, "Oh, wow, look at how the tables have turned. I'm just gonna mind my business." Now all of a sudden it's fuck the world. I hate the world. I can't stand y'all motherfuckers. All that stuff. We need to get out of that. We need to get out of our heads that if we just mind our business, everything's gonna be all right. To me, sometimes when people say I want to mind my business, it's basically saying I'm going to ignore it because it's not happening to me. If I ignore it, I pretend that's not happening, and then all of a sudden.
No, that's not what it is.
When life flips.
Selfishness, that's what it is.
Yeah. I'm not saying that you should intervene anytime, but I mean like times like this. When you flip that switch and all of a sudden, you just think that everything's cool and gravy up in your apartment, all of a sudden you see all the roaches start to scatter. After the person that was next door to you sitting there was complaining about the same thing about their apartment, like, man, there's a lot of roaches up here, man. And you just go up in your apartment like, man, I don't see nothing. And then next thing, oh snap, I got roaches. And dude just gonna look at you like, ain't my problem. And then all of a sudden hate the world. Yeah. Now it's all of a sudden hate the world. We need to get out.
I'll give you a better one. For that biblical, for you, since black folk love the church, and we always want to talk about how the devil was kicked out of heaven. This is true. But if you actually pay attention to the full story, when Lucifer actually challenged God and lost, yes, he was kicked out. He was banished with a third of the angels that sided with him. Also, God kicked out all the seers. And the seers were the ones that Donnell just described. They just sat there. They didn't side with Lucifer. They didn't side with God. They just chilled and was like, pretty much whoever wins, that's who I rock with. But I ain't trying to jump in.
All right, so
and God saw this, so he kicked them the fuck out too.
Right. So you remember that dude from YouTube that was commenting? I was just on our YouTube. So there's a comment that YouTube just sent to me to read. So I'm gonna read this to you. I'm not gonna show it. I'm not even gonna post it out. So this is what he put: us men must acknowledge women's oppression, accept their contribution toward their issues, and change their actions to protect Black women. Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. This guy,
you must stand tall.
He's all over the place. If he
cannot pass into the
right. If he understood what I was saying when I said that, just like a household that has a mother and the father, if those two ain't gelling or working together, their household is going to fall. But just because a house is fatherless or motherless does not mean that their house cannot strive.
What?
Because you got, I use the example, you have NFL players that came from single households and became
the vast majority of celebrities came from single households or fucked up situations
that didn't have a father, that had that mother. Why do you think every time when something happens, they got I won't say something happens, but when something great happens, when they win a championship, guess who's the first one to go give them a hug? Their mamas.
Wow.
Wow. And then you got the fathers, and majority of the time it's the girls who were Serena Williams. The Williams sisters. Who's the first one sitting up in the row? Their father. Who the first one they get a hug from? Their dad. It's funny because sons in the single mother household always say mama and give their mama a hug. They make sure that their mama's in front row or at least on the sidelines. And every time they win something, even when they lose, they go straight to mama and mama says it's going to be all right. Same with the girls that's in that single household with their father. Same thing. Like I said, Williams, for example, the Williams sisters, for example, their father right there front row. Not to mention their dad taught them how to play. And he
wasn't their mama in the household too?
I believe so. I want people to, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to come across like I actually know, but
I never saw much of her. But
I never saw much of her. One thing I know is but her dad, I would say her dad. I would say their dad was the one that checked that reporter who kept asking all those too tough questions, and he said I think at the time she's a 16-year-old girl, and he told him to stop, and he checked him, and that's what a father's supposed to do. And every time when they won or lost, they were in their dad's arms, either tears of joy or just tears of defeat. So you cannot keep using that philosophy on us Black people sitting there saying, well, because the father's not there, that's why the household is broken. No. Or
y'all got me thinking about Kurt Franklin, but go ahead.
Right. Don't worry. I was thinking about
that. I will not be disrespectful.
Don't worry. We're gonna jump on that. So everybody, y'all need to stop. Definitely the ones that oppose all this need to stop saying the reason why black people are like who they are is because of a broken household. That is wrong. That is disingenuous. Because if you're gonna sit there, gonna put that on us, we
It's
gotta put that on
inflammatory.
everybody else. We gotta put down everybody else, baby. And then also, we like I said, we got our own saying the same as that mess. Shut up. And I'm mainly talking to the freaking what's his freaking name? Jesse Lee Peters, who always say, oh, are you a beta male? Beta. I'm like, dude, you sound so stupid. I literally think that's an act sometimes, but you got people like him that always say that point. Once again, was break up Black Lives Matter.
There we go.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I just want to let y'all know, yeah, she will be there, but their father is who trained them. Okay, yeah, there you go. Thank you, McCary. He actually answered it for us.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I just want to make sure that's still a good analogy, but that's a nuclear family analogy for those that say they don't know, they only live in the one parent situation. Well, no, they had both their parents. Daddy was just more involved.
Right. So understand, just because one was not there does not mean that the other can take up the slack. I still believe that a mother cannot raise her son to be a man, as well as the father can raise his daughter to be a woman. I still believe that, but it still doesn't stop them from raising them the best that they can. So we want to put that out there. But let's all get back to our corners. And then I'm going to say this, and I just want to get a yay or a nay. I want to extend this for another 30 minutes, the show.
Yay.
Do I get a yay from you, Mayo?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Because I just want to get on this topic. I think this is the first time ever we got deep and got heated comments about this. I hope it carries.
I relinquish my community time because this involves the community, so there's no point in sectioning it out. We need to stick to this.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to our corners and let's take a comment.
Y'all ever seen a dog get an RKO? You ever seen the dog catch an RKO?
We're not gonna try to get kicked off of PETA, okay? So let's so let's go to a commercial.
You're muted, bro. Are you muted, bro? You're muted. You're muted. I don't think you can see us. Hey, bro, you muted, man.
He's just rolling.
Well, I mean, I wonder if you can see it. I mean, hey, you muted, bro. Hey,
But he was just so passionate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Oh,
you
I'm sorry. I
Thank
can't.
you.
I
Thank
ain't gonna
you.
But let
I
me go
want to
here.
hear what you was talking about because you just seem so passionate about it.
So what I'm saying is, for anybody who has Microsoft, because I got Microsoft Surface here, don't go through the updates because my computer is all messed up. I still got the freaking last commercial still up on my screen. I'm basically looking at my phone on via YouTube right now.
That sounds like that's
Oh,
sounds
now
like the new models of Windows. You're better off with the initial. The updates tend to fuck shit up.
yeah, because this is ridiculous. I hope somebody from Microsoft is listening to this.
2000 was like that. Windows
Yeah,
2000
it
was
was.
like that. There was another one after XP that was like that. It was good once the updates came. It completely fucked shit up.
All right. So our second half sponsor, Real Chubboy Popcorn, 12 different flavors. Check them out,
Yes.
realchubboypopcorn.com. They do deliver out there. And if you're in the local area, you can enjoy their What Up Dog, their Popo Dog, their Chill Dog, also their sandwiches, the Reuben, and also the BLT. Enjoy those great meals with a nice lemonade too as well. Blueberry pineapple is actually my personal favorite, but they got other flavors. But that's if you're in the local area. But if you're not here in the Washington area or in the local area, that's great too. You can look on their website and get some great popcorn. Real Chubboy Popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. Check them out. realchubboypopcorn.com. Now, just to continue on with the show. All right, so now let's I want to go back to the funny because we got sidetracked off the funny part. So you got a lot of people like the person who commented on this show earlier who want to talk about how it's a Marxist and he probably believed that George Soros funded the Black Lives Matter, and I want to talk about George Soros. Let me educate you on this, man. Let me talk to you.
Please indulge them.
Now, he may not have a great track record because his family do got a lineage of being a slaver. But I also can say that people can change their ways too as well. You just got to give them a chance. And for this man, if it's true, funded the Black Lives Matter, guess what? That man is going to be on the right side of history. It goes back to what Beast was saying earlier in the show about, Black people that we know, from the Booker T. Washingtons to, think of a Black scholar today that got backed by white people that had money, millionaires, billionaires. People didn't
Ain't
know.
nothing wrong with Jesse Spano finding out who she was.
Right. And then also to add this part to it too. Who was the guy who started Playboy? I forgot his freaking name.
Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner.
The whitest pimp ever known.
Hugh Hefner actually funded. I think Hugh Hefner, he funded Black Enterprise. I know he funded a Black magazine at that time. I forgot what magazine.
Probably Jet. Yeah, I think Beauty of the Week.
I think it was Jet. I didn't know that until
I can see it.
I think it was the Young Turks that actually did a piece on him about what he's done for Black people, and him putting funding to the I don't think he funded the protest, but he was an advocate to getting Black people their rights. And for hearing him giving $100,000 during that time was equate to $1 million to help this Black magazine to thrive. So it's nothing wrong with getting funding from other groups. So when I hear the right talk about George Soros like he's some bad guy, if you're going to sit there and say that he's some bad guy, you got Americans for Prosperity, you got the Koch brothers. I'm not talking about Coca-Cola. I'm talking about Coke with a K, OCH. who is stopping people like you from making a living. All those things that you always want to blame Democrats on, they're the main reasons why you're not getting your minimum wage. Why is a bad working habit? Why you're struggling from paycheck to paycheck? Why
Why your
you
job got outsourced to another country and you
right
got to
and
deal
why
with somebody else that don't understand you.
and why the politics around your local neighborhood, not just your state, but your local neighborhood is not fitting your values. It's not because that Democrat's up in there. No, it's because entities like those billionaires that is affecting that politician to do that, to do by their bidding.
Yep.
So obviously, one of the brothers passed away when he were arresting shit. One of the brothers is still alive and still keeping up with it. And then y'all gonna sit there and y'all gonna throw stones at George Soros. And many of y'all don't even know who George Soros is, what he does. They don't do their proper research. This is why, and I shout out to Roland Martin once again, because people been coming at Roland Martin, and Roland Martin's like, you know what? Y'all ain't nothing but little mosquitoes, little flies. I'm just gonna swipe you away. But when he addressed them, it's like not only does he swat at them, he just steps on them. And he talked about how us black folks go on YouTube and we listen to these so-called historians who sit there and think that they know everything from everything. They know about the Illuminati. They know how politics work. They know you shouldn't vote. That type of crowd. And rather than doing your own research, going to credible sources, actually reading up on people that got their skin in the game, that knows what the hell they talking about, not because it just fits your narrative. That is the big issue. So when you hear these so-called scholars on YouTube talk about how George Soros is a bad guy, actually do your damn research. Actually understand what this man has done. He actually done a lot of good. He actually supported all the things that you're benefiting from, that y'all not realizing, like Social Security. And for even women, including black women that sitting there saying George Soros is this evil person, he also fought for your rights too as well, and he's continued to fight. He's also endorsed a lot of programs to black folks, but nobody don't want to talk
Just
about it.
Soros sound really black right now, doing a lot of good for the community and catching up with hell for it.
But people like to
Shouts
talk
out to my nigga Jeff.
Right,
Shouts out to my nigga Jeff.
So
do what you do, Benjamin.
There,
you see?
So everybody who's sitting there talking about George Soros, I'm not sitting here trying to speak on George Soros' behalf, which I'm not. It'd be great that he endorsed this show. It would be nice, but I'm not trying to speak for this man. But one thing y'all should stop doing is talking and disrespecting this man's name when you actually know nothing or know what he is doing. Like I'm gonna
speak on nothing you heard about.
Right. I'm gonna use Beach Johnson for example. Yeah, have Beach Johnson brush shoulders with the law? Yes, but should we judge his past to what he's doing now? A successful independent artist who's not only on this show and making it successful, but he also helping other people with beats, writing their lyrics, studio time for his own albums. We should not be judging him for his past. You should be saying, well, damn, look at his past and look where he's at now. But see, people don't want to do that.
Aren't you happy I ain't selling dope no more?
Yeah. And as majority of times, the people that are the haters are just waiting for you to fall again so they can be like, haha, told you. But yeah, I know, Mayor, you want to step on there. I got to hear what you got to say about this.
It's usually ones I ain't fronting no dope to. That's all it is. It's the ones I ain't fronting no dope to.
Go ahead, Mayor.
I get when it comes to people being dogs. I mean, I've always felt like, as much as some people think it's fair game, you first of all, you never had me get on here and defend anybody or whatever if I don't know them, been like around them before. So I've heard a lot about Soros, whatever, and I've seen a lot. The problem with American lifestyles, the world, pretty much a globe, there's everybody comes with this set of facts. I mean, there's just, I mean, like I said, even with the Trump people,
Perceived truth.
well, I mean, but you saying that, but I mean, even we all do. I mean, that's the point for the perceived truth.
Right.
But
That's
our
what I'm saying.
perceived truth is our truth. Is that our perceived truth is our truth, and we all come strong with it. So I don't, unless somebody says something about me or one of y'all, and I know y'all well, like the way I know y'all, I'm like like I don't, I just don't get into all that because like first of all, the more popular you are, the more people gonna hit on you,
Mm-hmm.
or some people gonna be fans from afar because they will hope to be they just they want to love you because you're popular, So
Right.
it's hard for me um unless you're on record like a senator or like somebody who's serving in office where I can go on C-SPAN and see where you're on record and I'm watching what you're doing. I'm watching the bills you introduce into the House or the Senate. That's when I come like
Mhm.
well I know I follow your pattern. This is something that you cannot dance from, you cannot hide from because this is what you the ideas that you've introduced. So it's I've seen George Soros support. I mean, not seen him, but I've seen a lot of things that supposedly he gave money to. I mean, all these guys give money to people. People come ask them for stuff, and they give money to them. Is it because they want any particular agenda or not? Who knows? So who am I to be in there trying to defend? But who am I to also be throwing stones at them? I don't feel one way or the other about him. I mean, I don't. You know, I know that he was very heavy in Hillary's campaign against the progressives, in 2016. So that was part of the first time I heard about him, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, what I mean, and the Koch brothers have always been the Republicans, the McDonald, not McDonald's, the Walton family has always been Republicans. So I mean, I have my ways of what I think about this, but I don't let myself get too carried away because I might meet them someday and I might feel different about them from what I've heard about them or I've read about them. So, you just never know unless I've seen them come out and be like, I don't like black people or whatever, or I don't like progressives, whatever, so, because I am very defensive about the progressive community because I truly believe that the two party system and the leaders of the two party system are the biggest enemy of people. And it's all about how they can keep the 1% richer, and they keep turning us against each other, having the left and the right fight each other. But the main enemy of the state is being there, which is the establishment of both parties, and they got us playing. They got us played. So I don't get in those. I mean, but I certainly know what you mean. I mean, and in the sense of people need to get their facts together. But the question is, what facts? You got your facts, they got their facts. So now y'all fighting, facts fighting. Like that. I can't. I can't even get in all that because it's just too much. I mean, and especially the more we go into the future today, just like that's the reason why them people stormed the Capitol because they have their own facts. They don't believe the election was right. Of course,
It's
I've had my time before when I didn't think election was right. Bush Gore. I mean, I didn't go storm no Capitol. I knew I
right.
might get killed. Like, what I
Yeah.
mean? So it is what it is. I'm just saying that I don't think that that's what we should get us carried away. There's some statistics though that I want to bring to the table today, and we're gonna, if y'all don't mind, we're gonna chop into that next time, and we'll get a
No,
meeting
no,
or
no,
whatever.
no, no. Let's get into it. Since we talk about Black Lives Matter, let's get into it, man. Bring it.
So as we
What
talking
stats
right
you
now,
got for us?
I'm on this project right now in Ohio right now. Sherrod Brown, which is a Democratic senator, right? He has an opportunity to
Oh
pick
yeah.
two district attorneys. I guess so. The president is one that picks the district attorneys, right? All around the
Mhm.
United States, and you know how every talk about DA, the DA didn't charge somebody, the DA charged somebody, like Zimmerman, the
It's the
DA decided not
AG
to
you
charge
got to
them.
worry about.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, but still, like the DA works with them and all that. So, uh,
Hmm.
and we know how many black people have been locked up because the DA went after them and all this stuff or not, whatever situation. So I found out of the 93 district attorneys in the United States of America today that we only have two that are black, and it's just so shocking to
Damn.
me.
Mm-mm.
I'm thinking to myself because the reason why why the statistics came up to me was because I'm a chair of a committee they're supposed to be getting people aware about what's going on. It's Omega Psi Phi my fraternity, the voter registration, education, mobilization. Right, I'm a chair of that committee, and we're talking about how in Ohio we have the opportunity of two of our brothers who are eligible and who are qualified, well qualified. And right now, they're not even thinking about picking any blacks. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not even saying that they should pick our brothers in particular, but I'm talking about that's how big we have a pool in the black community. That we even have a pool within our fraternity. That we have at least two, and they have two seats have they've been every state. Because every new presidential election, right? Yeah, the president has a certain amount to pick, right? So 93, right? But so we have two possible ones in Ohio, and right now already they had it already where Sherrod Brown, his first pick was two white men or so, but now he's had a lot of letters written. Now this is one of the most progressive, supposedly progressive senators in America. I mean, I've met Sherrod before. He's a cool guy and everything, but it's just that thing that they don't know that it's like they don't know that they're doing what they do is it's even this is the white folks that's supposed to be fighting for us the Democrats that everybody fighting to vote for and all that stuff, and now he's had many letters written to him about this whole thing, and he's now reconsidering his picks, right? Because no, they've gotten it to him like, and it was part of that letter that when they were writing this letter, that's when the statistics came up, and they showed that out of 93 in the whole United States, we only have two the African American, and I'm saying to myself like, how did these things happen? And this is the time when Biden just got in, and like, remember I've been saying all this distraction on the stuff. If we're not bringing these things up right now, the people will be picked again, and then there'll be none of them will be black. And then something happened in the next few years, or the district attorney decide to do this, and be like, "Oh man, we never get a fair shot." But the time to make them do the right thing is now. These are the times to make sure you write a letter to your congressperson and say, "Are you sure that you're nominating the African Americans to this DA positions all around the country?" And I mean, there's 93 all around the United States of America. There's only two African Americans. Now, I'll go forward one more step further. I forgot what the number is, but out of every U.S. Marshal agent that's in the United States of America, I forgot what the number is. Out of 200 or 300 U.S. Marshal agents in the United States, they said as of today, there's zero that's African American. I'm,
Wow.
I'm, talking about,
Wow. That's crazy.
I'm just and I
U.S.
and I'm
Marshal.
I'm just telling you when I was looking at the statistics when I in the letter that was written, I'm thinking to myself like, I it's either not, that it's not true. These are judges and lawyers that came up with this statistics because the guys who are sitting down collecting the statistics are lawyers at black lawyers at like the Black Lawyer Association, whatever. So they come up with so they want to petition these senators and this congressman so they can nominate these people so Joe Biden can appoint them. So that's how the process goes. He's the new president. So the Democrats who are leading all the state, the top Democrats in all the states will appoint whoever they feel like is the best people, and then they'll nominate whoever they feel is best suited to their constituency. And then the congresspeople
Mm.
that's how the cycle is bad goes on, and we never catch it. We're sitting there complaining about, like, and rightfully so, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, all the things, and we going by our everyday life. But this is where the cycle starts, where that wrong. This is where we can stop the next one from happening. I mean, we can't stop the next guy from killing, but if they know that they don't have a free shot to kill us and not get charged, because whoever is going to be district attorney going to be somebody who's going to be like, who knows that Black Lives Matter. If they know that they don't have the opportunity that they've been having for so long, that might stop them from killing one. And the way they know is because they know that we don't pay attention to these times when people are being picked. If we are the ones that voted Joe Biden in, the black vote, black vote, and the black vote that voted him is not talking right now, sending letters to all the Congress people and to Joe Biden himself saying, make sure you watch who the amount of district attorneys that are being picked. Make sure you include black. If we're not doing that, then how do we expect to get that justice?
Right.
This is where the work is at. So that's what I wanted to talk about. And I know
And
it took a
see,
long time.
no. And that ties into what we were talking about. And Sharon Brown actually sound like another Tulsi Gabbard going in as a freaking
Well, I
progressive.
would say that quite, yeah. I mean, because he's an old timer here. He's been like he's one of the old,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But he still, but like going off what you just said, he does sound to me, ladies and gentlemen, once again, to me, does sound like a Tulsi Gabbard that just get in where they fit in, but then their true side starts to show. Miss when they was doing the freaking roll call, I forgot what it was for. She said present, and the sad thing is she's in the military too, and yeah, I'm just gonna stop right there. So, but other than that,
the point I'm trying to make in all that is that the average white person thinks of the next white person to point or to nominate if we don't come up and speak up. And some of our black electors will sit there and watch that happen because hey, I got my position.
yep.
So,
Like,
okay, Mayo, what we should specify too, because as you're talking about this, you're making me think about the union issues that I would have at my former job, and as black people, I'm taking the rhetoric that at the time my shop steward was dictating to all the hourlies. It was like, look, we don't need y'all to come in here and say anything. We just need y'all to come in here for a good 5 to 15 minutes to just as a show of force and conscious effort. We just need y'all to show that this is a sample of all the people that's been feeling some kind of way. And this is a physical representation of these grievances that we're bringing forth to you. So as Mayo was telling us to write, don't just write singly, write singly as well as from organizations, as well as from communities, on behalf of churches, schools, as well as when it's time for these local meetings and these selection processes, make yourself known. Right. We don't need all y'all out there for the whole time.
Don't just go to election day and I didn't think that they're gonna do it. They're not gonna just do it. You gotta make you watch. My bad.
Yeah, you got to. No, so I was agreeing with you. Like you gotta be mindful and be alert of it. Well, for those that feel like I don't have the time to invest in it, or I really don't understand, but I do agree with what's going on, but I don't understand how this method might work. We're not asking you to speak up. We just ask you to show up.
Absolutely.
Show up, sacrifice your time to show what's going on is actually worth something. It don't mean nothing when you got one man from the whole community saying these potholes is fucking everybody's tires up. We ain't got no street lights, so can't nobody see what's going on. The street signs ain't been fixed in over 3 years. But if you got at least 15 people from the community, that holds a little weight. You got 30 that holds a little more weight. Mm-hmm. If it's 100 of y'all in the community and y'all show up, they definitely gonna speak on y'all first. You gotta think about like that too. You show up with 100 people on the they address things in order of a significance. So if Mayo come to the next meeting or hearing and he got 50 people with him, 65, 70 people with him, on behalf of speaking and congruent and unity with him, you definitely like one of the first, if not the first thing we're gonna go ahead and knock off this docket. Because we can't be sitting there trying to do work with all you motherfuckers in the building.
Right. Great point. Great point.
Yeah. Great point. So I want to add on that for a little bit, because these are the things that we do need to be concerned about. We hit on it on Friday when we was talking about, well, actually not only just Friday, but many shows where we don't know simple politics. We don't know how politics work. Like I was just looking through TikTok. I'm becoming a TikTok fiend, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even gonna lie. What I mean by TikTok fiend, I'm talking about.
He's been assimilated. He's part of the Borg now.
Look, well, I mean, I look at TikTok. Yeah, look, I say this about TikTok. The trends and comedy. I treat it like YouTube. But then the ones that I really do like is the ones where they talk politically. So there was this one brother that he was saying all the right things, but then he lost me when he was talking about the district's attorneys, and then he was like, well, Biden basically was saying that Biden, well, I won't say Biden, but saying that Kamala Harris was to blame for what went on in California. And I was like, hold on, whoa. Stop the press. Yes, she was the AG.
Let's not say that.
And there's not only just her. I'm just talking about AGs in general that runs the state or on the federal level. But let's look at the state. So let's use that AG of when Kamala Harris was AG. Let's say an issue that happened to Tamir Rice happened somewhere in Sacramento, California. It's only so much that Kamala Harris can do. You want to know why? Because there's already a district attorney for that county. And Kamala Harris is only going to do is what's reported to her. And then y'all also have to understand this too. Was there a lot of black men and women that got incarcerated? Yes, that is the truth. But you telling me that all the people that she incarcerated were innocent? See, when you throw stuff out there like
but there's a couple. There's one in particular that was in there for many years, and he came back out, and she never apologized.
Yeah,
okay.
This is
what I say to that.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
That's a good point.
I don't want to see.
You make a good point, Mayo, with that.
It was a brother too, so for me.
Yeah. But
when I talk about myself, it could be me. So
right. But here's why I say to that too as well. Is that Kamala Harris' fault or that this district attorney, that local district attorney that's enforcing the law's fault?
Oh, she was the, I don't know if it was the district attorney, but she was the lead on the case because she showed up in court and closed an argument for that case. Because I remember it was
all right. So I'm gonna break it down.
They're protecting that. Okay, that's an exception. What I was gonna say is in regards to her as a black person in that position, and you're trying to question her credibility in regards to innocent versus actual guilty convictions that were done under her watch. You had to put in a actually get statistical.
All right, but here's
the best way to alleviate that. If there's a high number of convictions that were overturned or turned out to be or exonerations, then that's saying she wasn't really doing her job.
All right.
Well,
so
you feel what I'm saying? I don't want to get into the black thing in the sense of because my thing is about we cannot take away her record. You know what I mean? Her record was not supposedly the best in California.
That's why I'm gonna jump into, because we're putting it all on her shoulders. Here's the thing. So I'm gonna break it down. Let me break this down. Let me break this down in the military terms. Okay, so we got a lot of things that goes on in the military. You got the commander and you got the sergeant major. In political and not political, but in civilian terms, you got the president, you got the vice president, and I'm talking about like a company. They're only going to know so much is what is being reported with them. Just like y'all have in civilian world, you got EO rep, you got sharp rep. The sharp rep is only going to know how much they're going to get reported to them. And you also got to think about the not big brother. You got to think about the good old boys club too as well, which people fail to talk about. So we cannot, I would say this to your point, Mayo. She is going to get the brunt of it because she was California's district attorney. When things like that fall through the cracks, things that fall through the crack, yes, she's going to take responsibility of it. Just like just like the commander, but mainly the commander, because that's his company, that is his unit. When the commander, when something like that, when something truly bad happens, that's going to be a blemish on him, as well as the sergeant major is going to be a blemish on him too as well. But in their defense, we got a thing called the NCO channels, where we got other supervisors, well, senior and then managers on down.
Hold on. All I'm asking you is that would you use that same defense for Trump? Like, since Trump,
I keep the same. I keep the same.
Okay, Mayo. Okay, like I said, in regards to that particular case, it is unfortunate that she was involved, and it is the mustard seed, the truth that gives this statement validity, because she was actually there, and it turned out that brother was innocent. So that's the truth right there.
Yeah.
In order for you to get, I was saying, regardless of what her actual involvement was, the fact that it is certified and confirmed that she was there upon his sentencing attaches her to that case, and the fact that case was turned to be false. Yeah, she got to take that on the chin.
She gonna take the hit.
Now you got to look at the overall. But that's what I'm saying. At this point, you got to look at the overall, though. You got to look at the overall thing.
Right.
Before anybody questions that one that sucks.
All I'm asking
because I feel what you're saying.
No, hear me out. I get what y'all saying. All I'm asking, if y'all gonna sit here and defend black elected officials and stuff, I don't want to do it with everybody else. Two, it's not like I don't love to see my people be in office and get in office too. My thing is, don't defend the wrong that they did. If anything, somebody said they did wrong, admit to the wrong they did and say, yeah, I know that, because they're not superhuman beings. They're not God.
I'm not defending the wrong. I'm not defending that.
Hear him out.
I'm not saying that they are all evil, like throw them out with the bathwater. What I'm saying is that don't defend with the bad that they did. If anything, I'll say that, but she also did all this good, like all the programs she did with the youth and trying to get youth into knowing that they could be lawyers. Now she had all these programs with young kids in the California school district. So that's what I'll bring up in the sense that she also did all this good, but not to make it sound like all the bad that she did. Well, she didn't really do it by herself. No, I mean, she was the one that she was her case. She came out to the press conference the day the brother got locked up, and I mean, they took pictures of they made a whole documentary about this guy. And I mean, I'm looking at that shit, and I almost cried for the brother, because I mean, he went to prison for so many years. If that was me, you think I'd be happy? You think
that's the point I'm making. I agree with you.
Being happy,
I agree with you 100% wholeheartedly when it comes to him. That's what I'm saying. When it comes to him, but on the same point that you bring up with Kamala and all the good she does, that's the point I'm making about her overall record.
What?
We gotta look at everything. Everybody got some bad. It's since you want to speak on her legal record, look at all of it in the time that she was the state AG.
But
if that was the only thing I'm posing, if that was the only occurrence of an actual innocent, wrongly convicted situation under her watch,
hold on.
That's what I'm saying. What's the percentage? 10, like out of 100% time she was there, 10, 12. If it's a substantial number, then it's actually worth bringing these type of things in the questions. What I'm saying, but we can't just look at that one thing. If it's a pattern, then yes.
But see, the thing is, I'm talking about the structure and the information that she had available to her. See, we're forgetting about that part.
That's what I'm taking into account as well with the overall record.
There are other AGs that are in the commands. Well, not commands, but in these counties that have to relay this information to her. There's different ways that you expect information to be relayed. So, like, for example, if you're going to sit there, like if you're getting interrogated and you think that interrogator, that officer, good cop, bad cop, you think the good cop is your friend, you tell them all this information, like, I know I didn't do it. Okay, cool. All right, fine. All right, let me go ahead and tell my supervisors, knowing that they're on the other side of the mirror just to see how you're going to react. And then all of a sudden, hey, come the bad cop. Oh, yeah, your friend dimed you out. You're going to tell us what's going to go on. That's what I'm saying. Kamala Harris is going to take the big brunt of it because she is the face and she's the AG of it. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this before I go any further. I'm not the biggest Kamala Harris fan. There were laws that because there are things that I got to do. There are a lot of people who's in the service that are ordered to do things that they don't want to do. And you got to keep that into an account too. We do things that we don't want to do. We just want to be like, no, that goes against my values. That goes
Call
against
being a
my.
civilized adult.
But guess what? But let me continue. So there's a lot of things that people got to do to the letter of the law. Now, to your point, she could be like, we need to, okay, we can't take away, but we can add on to it. So yes, it's her fault for not adding on a policy for the state of California so that brother didn't go to jail. Oh, he had, let's say if he had like cocaine, he got 30 years, but then she could have added a stipulation to that unless there's undoubtable truth that he had cocaine possession. And if the cops, I'm just saying hypothetically, and if the cops were caught putting the stuff up on there, let's say they planted it on him, then they would get in trouble and he's gone scot-free. She could have done that. So I'm gonna put that on there. But still, in the same breath, you got other AGs down there. We can't keep looking at the head of the snake and understand that what happened if that AG was just as conservative or maybe even liberal, who knows, who just didn't like Kamala Harris. And then when the case happens and she get notified about it, the AG can tell her whatever. Like maybe that AG just didn't like the guy. Maybe this is the third time this guy has ever been down there, been in the court and all that stuff. Or maybe just want to get their quota numbers up of them being the toughest AG in all of California. Tell Kamala, okay, this guy did this, ... Here you go. What else can Kamala do besides take the word for what that AG is saying? Unless she had eyes or boots on ground to be like, hey, I need to have people down there to see if this AG is doing the things down there by the letter of the law and doing it fair. Because just like Kamala Harris can just put, I can add on to the law, they could do it for their county too as well too. Because she can be like, even though she can overrule them, but then she's like, okay, this is still your county. I'm gonna have to rock with it. Mm-hmm. So we have to, if we're gonna get mad Kamala Harris, we got to see the reasons why. Who worked under her ship? What counties had these problems with incarcerations that put these brothers and sisters in jail? But it's not. But I'm not gonna go back on the fact that I'm gonna say I'm gonna be nice that a quarter of them didn't do the crime. So not everybody was innocent, but then again, a lot of people shouldn't been guilty. So I'm gonna be fair in that regard too as well. But we have to understand too that Kamala Harris did not only have a hand in this. She just didn't have a big hand on California and just says, I'm just incarcerating everybody. That's not the case.
This is what I want you to understand, that anywhere in America, it's always fashionably cool to lock up black men or to dog black men. And for me, if you're an elected official, you're not consciously against that, I don't give a damn about you. I don't care what party you're in. For me, if you don't consciously understand that in America that dogging black men is the thing, and and on all parties, if you don't get that and have some kind of awareness about that, then I don't really care that much for that person in particular in politics wise. I don't. When I again predominantly in California history, she locked up from records that, and this is from people that progressives in California when they came out of the woodwork when she was running. In the primary, I mean, that's one reason why she loves primary, because she was probably one of the sharpest people on that primary stage. I mean, when she got to the Senate, she was one of the most progressive in the Senate. That's when I started liking her in the Senate. I didn't know nothing about her record as an attorney general or as a district attorney in California, but all that stuff kept coming out, and we just can't deodorize somebody like they're not a human being. She's a human being. She messed up when she was in California. She was trying to gain her ranks within the power structure of America. So, hey, how many brothers I got thrown at the blood?
She not even.
So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. She was trying to get her ranks.
Yeah. I look at it like you said. She's
better, and that's when I saw, and that's why I liked her. That's why I supported her. But I'm not gonna sit here and try to act like she ain't never done anything wrong. Like everything she ever done wrong. Oh, let's clean that up, make it look like she never did it wrong. No,
Oh,
I'm not
well, by
gonna
no
do that.
means.
And I mean,
Well,
it's like that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying what, like I said,
Okay,
whatever
let
that
me
done.
help you down there.
Man, I'm
Go ahead.
I'm
I want to
let me
ask
go
you
ahead.
too.
I'm just going to make this point down. I'm gonna let you have before. Like I said earlier, when anything happens under anybody's command, if they knew about it or not, it's going to be a blemish on their record. I'm not saying that I'm trying to excuse what happened to her or what she has done. I'm just saying there is a structure under her that carries out the laws too as well. So I'm like this. If it's like this, shit rolls downhill, but unfortunately, it seemed like the shit is just stopping on her. I'm not sitting there saying that she don't deserve the shit. If we all
stuff to her though, bro. I mean,
but then also the money is divvied up to her too as well. I mean, it's divvied up amongst the district attorneys in the state too. So, like you know about football, if your freaking quarterback is throwing picks the whole entire game, who's gonna get the blame? Obviously, it's gonna be the coach. But then also, what's the coach gonna do? That quarterback. But then also, other people gonna be like yelling at the quarterback too. Switch the quarterback. Switch the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So you just can't sit there and put it all on them and saying that it's the head coach's fault. Yes, the head coach is gonna get that. He's gonna get the blame. But realize if you sit there doing practice and you got the quarterback and you going through the drills with the quarterback, you expect them to do their job. And the quarterback's only going to tell you what is going on with them because the coach always going to ask you, like, did you see that? Did you see that 9 route? Did you see that blitz coming on your right? Did you see? Do you know who the mic is? So we just can't put it all on the head coach because that head coach got to know what that quarterback is thinking and expect the quarterback to do what he says and work the plays. And if the play is broken, I expect you to execute. Either you're going to take the sack or you're going to run for it or you're going to give it to your tight end or just throw it away. So it's a structure. It's a structure.
What I'm going to ask is the things that she did well, are you going to divvy out the things that she did well to people too and say that it's not all her that did all the good? That's what I'm saying. You can't have it both ways. Is what I'm saying. If she did something bad when she was there, or it's under her, you got to.
Okay, we're not speaking on her. We're speaking on her record.
I'm gonna use the car analogy again. If the car have a flat tire, is the car broke down? Is it non-serviceable?
Well, I mean, I hope you don't keep driving. You're gonna mess on
but see, that's what I'm saying. I mean, come on. If she's the freaking car, she needs the tires to keep going. Or if the car don't have no gas, if the car had no gas,
she's human. Mistakes. That's what I'm saying.
She makes mistakes. Okay, you got to look at it like this. I'm gonna give you an example of a bad record from a public elected official. This is all true. This was the sheriff, long-term sheriff of my county for many, many decades. During that time, true indeed, there was a respectably low amount of crime overall. Not a whole lot of violence. We had our spikes here and there, but that was more gang related. Though this individual, blatantly racist, hired fellow racists as well as friends and other nepotist associations into long-term positions. During his tenure, there was a federal cocaine bust that ended up exposing corruption within the narcotics department of the police department, as well as the sheriff's department, because their numbers were in the cocaine kingpin's phone, and they were the most recent numbers called when the feds got it. after, at the end of his tenure, finally being elected out, he still set it up to where all his friends and peoples kept their long-term jobs, even though many of them had been retired at that point 5 to 10 years.
Mm.
So they were collecting retirement pensions as well as Social Security, as well as still working the government job. Now I can see from Donnell's expression, that's not a good record, is it? Overall, you can't blame him for the coke bust. They ain't had shit to do with him, but happened under his tenure nonetheless. Correct?
That's true.
So he got to take that L. So overall, does this sheriff sound like he had a very prosperous and good tenure in his position, or does he sound like nobody should have gave him that position at all?
Sound like nobody.
More to the latter, don't it?
Yeah,
Exactly. So you gotta look like when it comes to Kamala, yeah, she fucked up on that time.
Yeah.
That's on her. She gotta take that on the chin. And to your point too, we gotta look at everything. Because the only way in that type of situation, especially with being public, going to back to Donnell's football analogy, the coach knows whatever deficits happen or befall the team, he catches the public hell. He catches the public ridicule. That's his position as the coach. If they lose, and they lose, excuse me, by a lot, he's the one that got to go before the press conference and the fans. He's the one that got to go before the owner and kiss ass and take hell and get called out his name. Now, yeah, he gonna give hell to that team because he ain't do none of that shit. He ain't deserve it. He wasn't out there throwing no ball. He wasn't running no routes, but he orchestrated. He helped set it up. The plan that he put together fell through, so he got to take that shit on the chin.
Right, but
his people did not go through his pain, so he gonna trickle down that hell too.
Right, but I want to make one more point. I want to make one more point to one more point to Mayo. But I will meet you in the middle, Mayo. I will say this: for all that to happen, to all those brothers and sisters who are still currently incarcerated for not doing a damn thing, she should have addressed it. She should have. For me, if I was her, I would have I won't say a plan, but had somebody of secrecy down there, definitely with DAs that are fuzzy, to be down there to give her insider information on what is going on. So when she goes down there to visit or goes down for an inspection, whatever DAs do, but I know DAs actually go down there to see how things are going, that she knows from her insider that DA or that AG for that county is not giving them bullshit. Like, oh, okay. All right, okay. But tell me about this case. Tell me about this. I do agree with you with she should have, I think that goes for anybody. Like I would say for your super PAC. If you know that I'm not doing my damn part and it's getting out there, all information that should have been within the group getting leaked out there to the media and leaked out to the press. Yeah, you gotta take that shit on the chin. You like, yo, what the hell? And then you found out it was me. I expect you to come deal with me and be like, unless if I don't want you to find me out and you do, and you like, yo, Morris, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you leaking? I found out that you're the leak in this super PAC when we supposed to keep everything internal. And see, and that's another thing that's a big problem with our community. But
so that's go ahead. I'm done. So I mean, like one thing is I just the biggest thing that irks me, and I just want to make sure we are not doing on this show. Because I was big on this show is that we cannot be fans. We got to be citizens. And for me, I choose not to be a fan of anybody who's elected. Who I know there's a fault when it comes to having to compromise. You gotta compromise when you're elected because you're not of any. You're not just representing one community. You represent all communities. So you gotta compromise. We know that. You know that. Whoever's elected is, they know that. what I'm asking them is, you better watch how much you compromise who we are. You better watch how much compromise. If you one of us, you better watch how much you compromise, because by the time you come back out of that, I'm gonna be upfront and confront you and saying that I was watching you when you was compromising. Did you overdo it or underdo it? So when it
Mhm.
comes to everything that we're talking about, it's been stated, and she's even admitted she had some sort of a bad record when she was a district attorney and when she was the attorney general. So I mean, so today the folks who are trying to and fuck her, she's in office now, so there's no reason to try to defend her. You know what I mean? Like I'm a fan of her for what she did, and I won't say a fan. Because like I said, I don't want to
Fair her
defend.
policies of her saying that she's
Well,
progressive.
I wouldn't say fan of, but I took a more liking to her, you know. But before I knew the things that she had did wrong, so it was kind of hard for me so I supported her wholeheartedly for presidents, for vice presidency, but not in primary, not at all. But and I supported for presidents, but the whole ticket was Democratic ticket anyway. So, but
Mhm.
but the idea is that I still cannot take my eyes on the fact that I know that she sold me out before as a black man. I mean, how about the fact that when she got in there, this whole thing that she locked up all his parents because for tourists because of their kids. I mean, these are all facts and stuff that was on her when she got became AG. So if their kids didn't go to school and all, I get what she was trying to do, make sure the kids went to school and all that stuff. But it got to the point where parents start getting locked up. This is on her record. You can't take it off a record. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's like this is things that she know that she made mistakes of. And we can call them mistakes or whatever. But if we're gonna do that for her, then we should do for everybody that's ever been horrible. We should do for Richard
Yeah,
Nixon, for Truman. I mean,
I
but I
keep the
don't
same.
want to do that. But I'll be wrong. If somebody do wrong, they just call them out. Don't make
Yeah,
mistakes. Don't
I,
don't make excuses. Yeah.
don't worry. I keep the same energy with everybody across the board if I like them or not, because I I want people to hold me to that same standard too. So I'm not saying once again, I'm not saying that she should not be excused for it.
Like
But then
every cop
also,
every cop union in California endorsed the whole time she was a district
yeah, they
attorney.
endorsed
Or
her.
they,
Yeah,
they were her best pals. So this
yeah.
is not something that was secret. You know what I mean? So it's not like, oh, this one case, and we try to make her look bad. No, it's what she was.
But
And she came out of that, and she got in the Senate. She became more
yeah, and
progressive. Same time for me. That's when I really got to know who
yeah,
she is, or so to speak. Until I found out about those things when she went president, I'm like, oh Lord, I thought she was all great. But I'm like, well, good thing I like her already, so I'm gonna go and support her. But it doesn't take away from the fact that she done all those things for real, and that's something that's a red flag, and it's something for me that I'm gonna keep watching. As she's vice president, and hopefully she become president someday. I'm gonna keep
and yeah,
watching those things.
and understandably so, Mayo. But I'm still sticking to my guns about the structure under her as well. So, like I
But
said,
those
I'm
are
not trying.
excuses.
But I'm like I said, I'm not trying to excuse what she's done, but at the same time, you have to understand the structure that she had under her too, that she was dealing with as well, because
Everybody has a structure underneath them.
wherever that capital was, where her office at, she can't be at a Sacramento at the same time as she's got to be at a freaking a San Francisco. So we have to understand that fact and understand that point too as well. Like I said, I'm not excusing her for all the wrong that happened under her watch or policies that was detrimental to us that she enforced. I'm not saying that at all. But also, we cannot let people that worked under her go under let them off the hook neither. So, I mean, and then also I'm gonna allude to that one question that you said about with under the Trump administration. I'm gonna keep that same energy when it came to who was the AG? What's his freaking name? Barr.
Uh-huh.
I'm giving him the same energy too, but then again, I got to understand for myself that there was people that was working under his watch too as well. So I can't put
So
all the blame. I can't put all the blame upon him because he
so
had people that worked under him too.
would you say you can't put all the blame on Trump too for coronavirus? How he handled it? And all that. I mean, because you can use that for anybody. Because everybody got structure. Anybody that's elected in any position, especially the executive position, you can say, oh, they got many structure, all this department under it. I mean, the buck stuff with them. I mean, the Bucks. You're the boss. You're the one that they report to.
Yeah,
You're the
yeah,
one that
but look who's but then again, you got to look at who the money that they're getting the Bucks from to themselves. So do we look at them too? We can't look at where the Buck stops, which like I said to your point, yes, we should go where all the Bucks stop. But I'm just going to look at the other end too, be like, who's giving them the Bucks? Who's giving her the Bucks? So we also know for a fact that the last 4 years was it all. Let's be for real. Was this all ran by Trump? Let's be for real. Was it ran by him, even though he talked a good game and all that stuff? I always said, and I said it on the show, and I said in the Ella Monte show, he was everything that the conservatives wanted, and they used his ass to the fiddle. Why do you think he got all those people up in the office that he wanted? He had Mitch McConnell's wife up in there. He had freaking that one dude who ran the treasury that worked for Goldman Sachs, I believe. You got all these people, and even you had the what's his name? Ben Carson up in there for Hood. I mean, once again, it comes with that good old boy system with freaking Goldwater. I'm telling you, Goldwater was probably doing the jig up in his grave because he was conservative upon conservative. He was what Goldwater would have been if Goldwater won in the 60s for president. He would have been exactly like him. So yes, I will blame Trump as much as I will blame Kamala Harris because it's going to be a blemish on their record. But also you got to look at the structure that was under them too as well. Because let's say, knock on wood, with the Biden administration, let's say he's in there now. What happened if he brought not the same people, but the people that was just like the Trump administration? Will we be saying the same thing? Or it'll all be Biden's fault?
Well, I mean, it will be the Buck stuff with him. They get the credit when they do good. They gotta get it when they do bad. That's what I'm saying. I mean, when she did the youth, hold on, when she did the youth program,
I disagree with that. I'm not saying I disagree with that.
Well, she did a youth program that I just told you about. That I had to dig up because I'm like, like it gotta be something that she did as well. So this youth program that she did, after she did this whole thing and locking all this parents up, when she did that program, you don't hear me saying again like, well, I guess some of the people that advised her to do it, so she didn't do all that good herself. I mean, she had that structure under her where she had advisors. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, it's her office. She's the buck stops with her, good or bad. Just hand them to her. You did this. I mean, you're the one that's supposed to check every. You have people reporting to you every day. What's going on in this county? What's going on in that county? It's her. I mean, ain't nobody else. We can't. I mean, pretty sister. She does all this stuff. It's progressive. All this stuff. Yeah. I mean, all the good things that happen after she got in the Senate doesn't clear a record as attorney general. And good or bad, let her. She got to take that. And I mean, I just don't want to make excuses for them because they're human beings. They're gonna mess up. And if her mess up was early in her life, it's better than for it to be right now. I hope I hope she's better now. I mean, I mean, she wasn't telling how AKA she was when she was locking all his brothers up. But I mean, she got in the Senate and she won the president. She AKA all day. I mean, she got everybody. And I'm with the one that ran out there and go support her because she's my AKA sister. That's in the Senate, that's progressive and all that. And I found out about all that stuff. I'm like, what? And I went, and for me being someone who was in politics, I like to dig into the issues. I'm like, I gotta find out if this was true. And I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm like, they got. She's right. She did all those things, but I forgive her because all the things she did in the Senate that was progressive was good. Those. I mean, that's what I knew most of. So that's why I supported her. But I'm not gonna let anybody defend or try to act like when she did wrong, it was because somebody was working under her, or because it's like, come on, like let's give it the credit, good and bad. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Give it the credit, good and bad.
That's why I said meet in the middle. Check the record. The record will speak for itself overall. The record will show not just her win-loss record, but any discrepancies within there. Like I said, with overturns, exonerations, things of that nature, that gets put in their record, that gets tallied up as well. Yeah. Same with baseball.
Yeah. And
every time they strike out or You tagged out the base. That's put in there.
Yeah,
That you got to look at all that to see how their real character in that regard is.
yeah, and like I said, I'm still gonna stick to what I said. I mean, it's still gonna be a blemish on our record, but also, like I
Yeah.
said, it's also about the structure that you have under you too, because they can make or break you, regardless on how much power. If you're the president of the United States to a freaking superintendent of a high school or a district, if somebody fucks up, you're going to take the heat. But realize
That is
you
true.
got to go. You realize, but you also got to realize if you actually go to the town hall meetings and realize who was the one that actually fucked up, and expect the superintendent will fix it. That's
Whoop
right
that
there.
nigga ass.
All the difference. That will make all the difference. Superintendent, yes, he should, like Kamala Harris. I mean, give her a little bit of credit for acknowledging that I fucked up. I think it will be
As much as I love doing it,
but I mean, it'd be worse. It would be worse if she didn't acknowledge it at all. It would be worse if she just walked on like, "Oh, you fuck California." Oh, what? You say California's the best? Cool. You're right. California is the best. So at least she acknowledged it. How bad it may have been, and it still has been. Hell yeah. I mean, there's times where I fucked up severely, but we also got to look at the structure under them because, yes, they're the head of the snake. And I mentioned this on the past show, and I'm going to mention it again. When you cut off the head of the snake, the body and the nerves still going to keep moving, including the head of the snake going to keep moving too. But the body of the snake going to keep on moving. And they just gonna be like, well, at least I'm not the head, I get to be AG for the longest down here and all that stuff. So I'm like I said, I'm just gonna stick what I'm saying. And then also we went over, I said 30 minutes for y'all. God dang it, Mayo. Good grief.
Hey,
Blame this on Mayo.
when you mention locking up black folk, I when you especially black man, I get sensitive.
Yeah,
What I mean?
and I share your passion. I share your passion, and you also gave me an idea for the next show too, as well. And I talk to y'all more about it on tomorrow. But this was a great talk about.
I worked at the jail before, man. I mean, and it's not just like I said, people are effing up, but it's really poverty. That's the crux of everything. It's poverty. But when in the midst of everything, these people, poverty kills our community. People are acting the food, and he throw them in here and lock up. I mean, we're so hard on brothers, man. We are so hard on brothers. I mean, and we keep effing up. Don't get me. It's not like everybody just want to throw brothers in prison without doing anything. But when nobody looks at why we're doing it, and nobody even feels for us, it's almost like like forget those black men. Like just kick them, brother down. Everybody kicking brothers, And we always be the one trying to stand up for everybody. We stand up for everybody, but we're being kicked, in the midst of everything. So what I mean. I'm just like
I got you, Mayo. Yeah, I got you, Mayo. I like that. For anybody, McCary, McCary, he gonna love the show. Thank you, McCary. But I wish you was here for the first part of the show. But we're gonna have to end it. I can't wait till Wednesday. Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, our Wednesday show, we're going to be talking more about the Biden administration. It's going to be our part 2. And I believe that this Black Lives Matter part is going to be a part 2 to it too, which I actually love doing shows that have a part 2 to it because we could have a change of heart or we could have some more information that we couldn't relay on that show. So Wednesday show, we're going to be talking about the Biden administration a little bit much more, which will go more with what Mayo was talking about, because we do need to talk about the criminal justice reform that his boy Van Jones has been pushing out there, and that should not go unnoticed. And so we're gonna talk more about that, and then also what's that?
Sorry about that. We're gonna talk about Medicare for all too. I guess
That's a must too. So yeah, but let's go ahead and do our final points. First of all, before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors, Real Child Boy Popcorn, and as well as Sky Zone Society. I'm gonna make y'all laugh a little bit before we jump into it. If Teach was on the show, Teach she'd be having that look like, yeah, I need to wrap it up. I'm getting kind of tired. She gonna kick my ass for that one. But other than that, 5 point, Mayo, you got the floor.
Okay, real quick. So this final point. So on Wednesday, I'm having a Medicare for All town hall. Every month I'll pick an issue. This month is healthcare. The next month will be infrastructure banking. Make sure we build our infrastructure and putting people to work. And then the month of May it will be criminal justice reform. So again, what we're doing on Wednesdays having what's it called town hall meeting. We might even have a congressperson which is talking to some congress right now. There's a bill that's going to be dropped in the U.S. House, which is Congress from on Wednesday. Is being introduced by Congresswoman Dingle out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. I was on a conference call with some progressives, and she was on there giving a presentation on Saturday or Sunday, and she's going to be introducing a bill in Congress on Wednesday. Please watch if you don't get a chance to watch. I'm going to jump on this show and the latter part of this show to talk about um, how you can be a part of it. And again, my biggest thing is even when we talk about Biden on Wednesday, anybody want to talk about Kamala, whatever, anybody want to talk about it, we have the biggest part of the job. If somebody's elected, you got to look at them from the lens of the fact that they work for you, not if they're black, white, they're cute, they're ugly, not any of that stuff, like we got and stop being fans of them being, the person that messed up in California when Kamala Harris, Attorney General and District Attorney in what's called San Francisco, was the people that were in that county and the people that were in that state when they didn't get rid of her in time, or at least if not get rid of her, let her know that you need to do better and make her do better. And that's all around the country. We are too complicit, and that's why our elected officials are doing whatever they want to do. As of right now, the country has an overwhelming amount of people that wants Medicare for all. Over 75% of America wants Medicare for all, but the representatives in the United States Congress is sticking the middle finger to people that are saying no, we're not going to get you this because the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies are saying that we put money in your campaign. So don't listen to the people; they don't know what they're talking about. So the people are saying they want this. The people that represent the people are saying no, we're not going to get you what we want you want because we spend money from the pharmaceutical company and the insurance company. That's what we want to talk about on Wednesday because Medicare for All says that everybody's going to get health care. Nobody's going to be a loser in the health care. That's what it's going to be about. Again, I just want us to be more active. Let's play our own part in this democracy so it can work for all of us. So again, that's my final thought. Thank you so much, everybody.
Mm-hmm. All right. I just remember my final point is we got the real estate show, but since we extended this show, we're gonna do the same with that. So we're gonna be talking about also real estate the first half of the show. Beach will have a good friend of his that knows credit, so we can help you get qualified for your loan. Like I said, part two to Black Lives Matter. We probably didn't talk about the group, but these are things that they are fighting for that we talked about all through this show. And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna give the floor to Beast. Is this if hearing Black Lives Matter make you feel some type of way, then you're the problem. And if you're black and it got you feeling some type of way, you're the problem too. Because Black Lives Matter wasn't just a gang that decided to come together and just say that, oh, we're Black Lives Matter and we're going to destroy our neighborhoods and all that stuff. Because 90%, and you're looking at a person that actually went to a protest where nobody, listen to me, nobody did anything out of an act of violence. Where the freaking, with the gas guns, the tear gas was being shot up in the air, and being in the city, it echoes off the building, took me back to Iraq. I have the Instagram post, and I haven't posted on Instagram in a while, other than the advertisements for the Wet Network, where it literally sounded like Iraq. So, and then also agitators, which there's also an FBI. The FBI said outside agitators were the one that made the riots look like it was violence for Black Lives Matter. And then also think about it too. If Black Lives Matter did all that If they did all that and you only care about the business, do you see a problem with that? And do you blame them? You haven't been hearing us for years, for decades, for centuries when we said we're being oppressed. And you set back and you put your own insecurities on us and put it in our faces saying, well, we got issues too. So do you blame? It's like blaming that bear for attacking you after you kept poking it with the stick. When will you take accountability? Because white silence, and I believe any silence, white silence is genocide, is violence. Basically meaning you don't give a fuck, but you do give a fuck when you see athletes kneel. And even when y'all come at the athletes saying that, oh, it's just sports, keep politics out of it, proves what Black Lives Matter means. It also proves that racist bone body, that prejudice that you have, that bone in your body that you say you never had, is showing. Basically, you only see us as a minstrel show, your entertainment that you just pay a lot of money to watch. And a lot of them get hurt. And their lives are changed. Because a lot of them got freaking that concussion. What do they call it?
CTS.
Yeah, CTE.
CTE.
And none of y'all don't even care. Even my boy from the Dallas Cowboys, Dorsett, who got it severely in his old age. But you don't see Jerry Jones paying for his medical bills. I don't see none of y'all going out and seeing how Mr. Dorsett is doing, or any of your favorite players from back in the day. You're not paying for their medical bills or paying their bills in general to keep the lights going and all that stuff. So don't tell me, come up to anybody that look like me or male or obese and tell us, stick to sports. This is why they kneel. Because at the end of the day, when they out of their uniform, when they leave out that stadium or they leave out that facility and they drive on the road and they get pulled over, that cop ain't going to care that they're an athlete or they play for their favorite team. I'm not saying that's all the cops, but majority that I see on TV, if they pull over an athlete, they don't care if you make $1 million or you drive a Lambo, you got a sexy girlfriend as a model. They don't give a damn. They don't even give a damn if you got kids. You in their mercy, you in their hands. And if you got road police officers that's going out there just killing us and then they kill that athlete, how are you going to feel? Are you going to finally understand when we say Black Lives Matter, we're not just talking about ordinary everyday people, we talk about all Black lives. So if you don't see that, you are the problem, and that your prejudice and your racism is showing. Are you the for the beef?
I want everybody to check the record before you make your decision, and thoroughly check that record before you go want to throw opinions and make allegiance and alliances. Really check it, the overall record, because there's good and bad in everything. But to get that 100%, it's not always 50-50. Sometimes it's 51-49, and the respect and balanced equations to get 100. Sometimes it's 1-99, but it's never 100% either way. So you gotta look at the overall. Black folk, we love to make fucking excuses for shit that's damn terrible for us. I like drinking. It helped me relax and help me pass the time and make me chill. But let's look at the overall. record when you drink. Yeah, you feel good. You relax. But you loud as fuck. You want to get in everybody's face. You get extra touchy. And it throws mixed signals. And then you get overtly aggressive. Does the record speak good for you in drinking? No. Stop fucking drinking. With Kamala, same thing. Looking at the whole record. Does her record show a habit of not only locking up black men, but locking up innocent black men who are later exonerated and found innocent of their crimes? Is it a whole lot of that shit in there? Is it like an understandable amount that would easily be in the same respect of any other person in that position, no matter their color? If it's in that range, then she doing what the fuck she need to do, and she did a competent job at the end of the day. You can't say she did good, can't say she did competent. That shit happens. Think of that as like that's loss. If you were in fast food, the food that you don't sell at the end of the night that's already cooked, that go in the loss. You just chuck it up to the game. No matter what you do with it afterwards, I can give it out, but the company got to write it up as a loss. It didn't get sold. We got to throw it away. So if you want it, take it, because if not, it's going in the trash. And check the fucking record if you're going to sit here and say, this person doing good, this person doing bad. Look at the overall. Especially in this fucking cancel culture that we live in, where everybody quick to want to bring up shit for folk past. Everybody done dirt. Everybody. Even Jesus. Jesus got mad and assaulted people. Not out of love, out of anger. Jesus whipped some niggas. Imagine Jesus coming into the church. Not even Jesus. Just imagine the most well-known pastor of your era, of your area, walking into the church in the midst of one of several offerings, and then proceed to just cold cock both of the deacons holding the table, slap the first lady, bitch slap the pastor, and just proceed to just start giving them stiff force gumps straight to the face. Like, we don't charge. God don't want money. Just elbowing all the brothers, kicking people. Like, this is basically what Jesus did in the Bible. Came through with a whip and said, hold on, y'all charging people for what my daddy said is for free? He made it. That's like the son of McDonald's. Let's say Mr. McDonald said, all right, it's always gonna be 59 cents for a burger. Always gonna be no more than 89 cents. I don't give a fuck about inflation, none of that shit. 89 cents, the most you're gonna charge for a fucking sandwich in my establishment. He put it in the law, and they did not do it. And his bloodline came back through and just started molly-whopping motherfuckers. Like, you charging niggas goddamn $2.50 for a fucking cheeseburger? How dare you? You go against my father's name. Like, but do we say Jesus did it? The point being, check the whole fucking record. Everybody got some bad on it. It don't mean you're not incapable of good. But for those that want to indulge more in bad, your record will speak for it. And them the motherfuckers you don't want to indulge with. Stick to the folk and deal with the folk that's really trying to do good and invest in all their energy to the good side. They're going to have some negative that comes with it. But you want that good to be on the 51%, not the 49%.
Gotcha.
Man, that was a paper.
Glad y'all got that laugh out too.
Yeah.
I know some church folk praying for me tonight. I know some church folk praying for me tonight, boy.
We do not condone violence on this show, as well as violence from Jesus.
No. No, Jesus condoned it. Jesus condoned it in the church, and it's in the Bible. I've read it 3 times just to say I did it. So I remember that clearly. Don't cite me. I'm not one of them ones that's going to cite your own shit. I'm not going to be like, well, it was in Mark 4th chapter, 37th verse.
You just
to
know
the
that
42nd
he
verse.
read it in the Bible.
It was there. It was there. I know it happened after this, and it happened right before this.
And with that, we can go ahead and head on out. As for Mayo, Beach Johnson, and me as your gracious host, down there,
Thank you to Brother Keith, man. He's been engaging the whole time.
Hey,
yes.
this is our dog right here. He's our #1 fan. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all need to
get used to it.
Yeah.
Get used to it. He gonna give us some shit to work with.
Yeah. So we gonna head on out. Thank you, fellas. Thank our sponsors for sponsoring the show. See y'all on live.
Thank y'all for watching.
Right, we're gonna be having the meeting on Tuesday, but we'll see y'all on Wednesday, where we will have my boy Rodriguez back on here to talk about real estate once again, but this time about loans. And Beast will have his guest to talk about credit and tying that together, and as well as the town hall with Mayo.
Absolutely, 7 o'clock.
Yes.
We get on at 8 o'clock. The town was at 7 o'clock, and don't forget, Kamala supported Medicare for all in the Senate. So
so we got y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have a good one. Catch y'all later. Mayo, so excited for Wednesday. So am I. Y'all have a good one. Catch y'all later.
That'll be easy.
Catch y'all later.